was a child, my parents told me to never go past the stone line. They say the boundary lands are scarred and dangerous.
But I've been to the capital. The lands are as scarred and dangerous there, too.
The people of the kingdom are scared. They're ready for change. They want to be able to dream again.
And now, for the first time in 1,000 years, an expedition is ready to leave Solvari!
We call it the Feld.
It's the size of a city, and believe it or not, it can move.
They're taking the city past the stone line?
Out in the wilderness, to find a new place to live.
Sights no mortal has seen before.
Lands untouched by any hand.
We're making our dreams reality.
And forging a new path forward.
Together! Together.
All to find a place where we belong.
Welcome back to Diceburgh on 5% Chance. We're here with episode 6 out of the oven tonight. And we're all super excited. We're super excited like we normally are. My name is Kurt Stridinger. I will be your fearless, mostly fearless dungeon master for tonight and the foreseeable future of Diceburgh. I'm joined at the table by my lovely players here who we will go around and introduce for you all. Playing our lovely, the one and only kobold wizard, Big G.
What's up, everybody? Hi! I hope you're all doing well. I'm gonna force the energy because I don't have any. I love you all. Go to the next person.
His name is Jared, by the way.
Oh, hi! I'm Jared, or Chanders, whichever you prefer.
Playing our actually fearless Leonin Paladin, Bayor Skeldmane.
Hey, my name is Steve Harvey. Again, episode 6. Not that Steve Harvey. And yeah, I play a lion, dude, and I am super excited to be here, and also low-key really exhausted from my week. But we all know how excitement and exhaustion can meld into a crazy amalgamation of really dumb decisions. So I'm so excited to make some dumb decisions tonight. Yeah.
Our Kalishtar monk, Celestina Paint, we have.
Hey, name's Arizona. I'm from Tennessee. Yes, I'm the only 10 you see, and you only need to know about 4% of the states to know me. Excited to be here today.
Awesome. So moving right along, you may know him as a sassy wizard on TikTok, but here he is playing a dragonborn cleric named Arguvar.
Hello, I'm Brill. Patreon.com/Dumpstat Podcast. I'm Brill from Dumpstat. Please donate all of your money to that. Thank you. All of it. And I am the real Steve Harvey. I don't care. I just noticed while everybody was going around, I kept doing my dumb faces like I'm trying to entertain the audience, so I hope you like that.
But certainly not least, our Water Ganassi cleric, no, not Celestina, Rylin.
Druid.
Druid. Arguable. I knew I messed that up.
I'm cleric druid.
Act 1, scene druid. 1, take 2. Reintroduction.
Redo that. Our Water Ganassi druid, Rylin.
We are all a little tired today. I'm Erica. I'm probably just gonna giggle through most of this evening, so let's kick it off, I guess.
Right, friends. We got an exciting night tonight. Why? You probably noticed there's a little something different with that starting screen, and like it's right up there, I believe, right now. Diceburgh is now officially sponsored by our friends at C4 Labs. That's right, C4 Labs has some really great D&D accessories. They have this Mare dice tray, which is great. It has the vegan leather interior. It's got tons of dice space. It's huge. I don't know if you can see this in comparison to my face here. You can line that up with any of your favorite dice towers as well. We've got the dueling dice tower, which is great for advantages and disadvantages as a dungeon master, and it just sits right in the middle there. It's great. And best of all, if you use code BERG15, BERG with an H, 15, you can get 15% off any item of your choice at c4labs.com. So thank you to our new friends at C4 Labs. Woo! Jumping right into our game if you missed us last week or if you need a little bit of a recap since it's been a while. Our scouts were making their way deep into the Endless Marsh, this strange amalgamation of the Shadowfell and the Feywild that appears to be merging together and almost infecting the material plane. As they made their way into the swamp, they discovered a giant obelisk that they were led to by the help of the will-o-wisps. Reaching the obelisk, they met a strange figure from Arguvar's past. And after a fierce battle with several dragonoid, humanoid hybrids, the party was able to stop one of the 2 wagons that this figure had from escaping, but not before Omega himself was able to teleport out of that area, making an escape. After the battle, the dragon egg that Arguvar has been carrying with him started to resonate and glow along with the obelisks, and after he placed it on a funeral pyre that the party had made, you were all transported into this outer space realm where you were riding on the back of a giant turtle swimming through the stars. And after Celestina tried to reach out and make some kind of contact with the turtle, you were given the phrase, "It is time to wake up," before being transported right back in front of the obelisk, where you were met staring down a crossbow bolt from another one of these scouts, this one from a long-range scouting party who you learned his name was Warden Foster. You learned Warden was tracking down these wagons, one of which you were able to stop, as they were apparently stolen from the Mirenfeld. And after sending Warden to go meet up with Kamord and Yarick back at the Grove, you went down under the obelisk into the dragon's little lair where you discovered some magical items. And that is where we are going to be picking up. So with the items that were in the chest, you had a chest, small chest that was full of gold coins. In assorted, with the gold coins, you found 3 different gems. There is a small ruby, a small sapphire, and a small purple crystal. There was the leaf sword that Bayor had handed to Arguvar. There were a set of finely crafted bracers. There was also an amulet with the symbol of Tellurian on it.
Yeah. I remember taking special interest in the Tellurian amulet.
Yeah. So Bayor, if you want to go ahead and pick that up, checking it out, it is a small amulet. You feel grasping it though that there is a warmth that is coming from it. That you can feel it almost glowing in your hand.
Do holy symbols usually do that?
They do not.
I motioned for Arguvar to come over.
Yes.
Does your order have experience in relics of religions other than your own?
Yes, we do like to study the other non-beliefs.
What do you make of this? And I show him.
May I roll religion, perhaps?
Sure, yeah.
Thank you. Because I don't... Listen, Arguvar is... We leveled up, correct? I'm not crazy.
We are, yeah. We're level 5 now.
Right. So Arguvar is currently reeling with the fact that he believes that at any point he can turn into a spider. So that's going to be an 8, for religion. Is that little knowledge in the back of your head? I could be a spider right now at any time.
Believe it or not, I'm not familiar with that feeling.
It's been a long day for Arguvar. There's been a lot going on. Unfortunately, you're not able to identify it exactly. There are a lot of different relics or holy symbols that bear Tellurian's crest or symbol on them, as she is sort of the like main deity of the pantheon.
Right. May I, if I might not be so bold, may I... can I actually roll Arcana? Probably shouldn't cast Detect Magic.
Sure. Yeah, if you'd like to.
If I can do a quick magic look, I'm better at those. I think. No, I'm not. Never mind.
You can't do quickies because of your vows.
That's true. I mustn't do quickies due to my vows. They must be long and romantic. That is a 11 for Arcana.
11.
I'm really eyeing this one. Just really leaning in.
So yeah, you see along the outer edge, there's sort of like two halves that are inlaid a little bit, and in that little inlaid dent, you can see that there are arcane runes that are sketched and etched into it. So this is definitely some sort of magical item.
Rylin, one moment if you don't mind.
Yes?
Pardon me, Bayor. I believe that you are from some form of casting order of some variety.
Yes. As in I can do magic, yes.
That is good. I have a question about this amulet, and I'm going to just take it from Bayor and just bring it over to Rylin and plop it.
Look at Big G and just shrug.
This is for science. Do you have any idea what it do? What it do? What it do? What it does? That's what I was trying to say.
I mean, it's really pretty. But can I try to discern?
Sure. So I will stay here. If you all want to take a short rest after your battle, and take some time, you can go ahead and figure out what these magical items do over the short rest.
This amulet around.
Just checking it.
I'm gonna put that thing on and just to see if it chokes me. I'm ready to die. It's fine.
I would like to take a look at the bracers to see if they have any type of funkiness to them.
Sure. So I'll start with Rylin, taking over for the amulet here. You, over the course of your short rest, discover that this is what's called a Tellurian candle. It is a small amulet with a sun emblem of Tellurian on it. Once per day, it is capable of shedding bright light and heat as if it's coming from a campfire for 8 hours. And any fire or radiant damage spells that are cast as the with the candle as its holy symbol or focus have their DCs increased by 2.
Ooh.
Pretty good.
Honestly, Arguvar, this might be a little bit better for either you or Bayor to have, as you are also from a casting order. It essentially makes some of your fire and more like holy magic a lot more potent.
Well, I'm afraid that it does have a strange deity on it, so I will refuse.
More the blessings to me.
I lean into Big G. Is that how it works? You just get fancier things and all of a sudden you can do better magic?
Yeah, it's just like you get like a fancy little tool and then it does like flames and shit.
Really? It's that
at
easy?
least the ones I've seen.
I spent all of my time studying all of this and I could have just bought a fancier thing?
What do you think the grappling hook's for?
That's fair enough.
Speaking of Big G, as you are looking over the bracers that you have, you see these two, sure enough, have plenty of arcane runes that are etched throughout them, and you're able to identify these are very familiar runes to you. These are runes that come from the School of Illusion. Ooh. These are illusionist bracers. So
Illusionist
anytime you
bracers.
cast a bonus action or cast a cantrip wearing the bracers, you can use a bonus action that turn to cast the same cantrip again.
That's pretty
I-
good.
Here, I'm
I
going to send these
go-
over in the chat here.
Okay, I'm gonna go. Magic uses. Huddle up.
Oh, that's
So-
me.
Yes. I'm sorry, Celestina.
I'll be honest.
I'm
thought
gonna
that-
go take a nap. I'm just gonna go sit down somewhere else.
Oh.
Don't worry about me.
Big G, I feel like this is very offensive to your only friend in this group.
Are you saying we're not
We're all friends.
It's a little classist, if you ask me.
Yes, we are allies, but you've known Celestina for a very long time. To
Oh, yeah,
exclude one
don't
from
you
a huddle,
worry, Celestina and I will share a drink later.
your customs are
Besides, these bracers, they're not. Celestina doesn't really dabble in like magic and enchanted items, so they wouldn't really, take any help from these. But you see these braces here, they're pretty nifty, and if nobody wants them, I'll take them. But I want you all to have first dibs on them. They just do. And I explain what they do.
It's an interesting item, but no, I have no need for it.
Hey guys, I hope the huddle's going well.
we'll be done in a moment.
No, again, take your time. We just made eye contact. I thought I'd have to say something.
We're not talking about you. I mean, we were.
I mean, I'm only like 7 feet away. I can hear you're talking about me, but I'll respect it.
I feel really bad. I'm gonna
heads.
put the bracers down and walk over to Celestina and go, I'm really sorry. That was
No, big
that
G,
was
big G.
I didn't
No,
realize
listen, it's
we were
it's
all
perfectly
magic
fine.
users
It's
and-
perfectly fine. I understood when I signed
No,
up for
I'm
this.
a little
It's perfect.
embarrassed. It
Look,
is
I gave away
something
the
that I
sword
should-
earlier. I had the opportunity to join you guys, but again, I made my decision. Don't feel bad.
Well, you know what? I'm making my decision. I sit down right next to them.
I mean, but like, go finish what you were doing. Like, unless like,
They can
are we
have
all
it.
just gonna? Okay. Anyway, just I feel like you guys
I'm
can
going to
just
stand
take
up
the
and just
braces.
walk away from the huddle and sit down and fall asleep. I'm ready for the short rest to keep moving.
So during that short rest, during your dream, Arguvar, as you were given the leaf sword, you discover this is the sword of Arundel. It is a +1 longsword. It has finesse, and once per day, you can teleport up to 30 feet as if you cast the Misty Step spell.
Ooh. I have that. That's nice. We can both proof.
Bro,
Here's
we're
an
gonna start
idea. What if we just
dancing.
give
We're gonna-
everything to
we're gonna
Baylor
poop.
and just
We're gonna
set
poop.
them in?
I can already poof.
He can already poof. Now I can poof with him.
Oh, that's a good one.
We can both poof through fire now.
I'll just run faster.
Terrifying. Well, I could also just run through it.
Yeah. And Celestina bringing in the heat by running around. Or no, that was Big G. Yeah.
Well, running.
Um,
I'd say so. I dream of a sword.
Hey, Rylin, would you care for these bracers? Would you like them? There might be I don't have that many fancy attack spells, so it might be more useful.
I thought you were going to say you didn't have that many arms.
Is it just cantrips? Clarification.
It is, yes, just cantrips.
I mean, they might be a little bit more useful maybe down the line once I learn a little bit more, but if you can't use them now, I can hold on to them until maybe they're more prosperous for either of us.
Yeah, that'd be fine. I'm pretty comfortable where I'm sitting right now.
Okay, I'll take the bracers.
So yeah, Bayor marked down the Tellurian candle. Rylin marked down the illusionist bracers, and Arguvar, where you can write down Arendel's sword. I sent those all over in the chat, so you can check out those. And then as the short rest comes to an end, you can use any of your hit dice if you want to heal. update any of like your key points or anything like that if you need to. As your short rest draws to an end and the swamp around you grows, not eerily quiet, but you can hear the sounds of insects chirping. You can hear birds fluttering through the air. You can hear regular frogs croaking from off in the distance somewhere. It's new. You're not used to this sort of life being present in the swamp. So what are you all doing?
Are we not going in a direction towards somewhere?
You were still at the obelisk.
Oh. Oh yeah, we were just finishing up our res.
Hmm?
Right?
So we just. Remind me, how much time did we lose? It's a week, right? Or 2 weeks?
2 weeks.
It's been 2 weeks, since you left the Feld, or the Mirenfeld. In your perspective, it's probably been, like 3 days.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Do we sent the other person to go check on and report to the captain, but I guess do we just continue on? Find our way through the swamp and... Alright.
I think we need to...
there's a couple of things we like in front of us right now. We can continue our, original mission for the Mirenfeld. We could go check on that, the spring court was here?
Mm-hmm.
What was the fall court?
Spring.
Yes, we're trying to investigate the source of this obelisk and how it's interfering with this convergence of the Shadowfell and the Feywild.
Then there's Arguvar's little friend who showed up.
That person
He
went
killed
just
all of
into
my
the
people.
woods.
Yeah.
Like, should we follow that wagon? They went just into the woods.
Well, that was also like a week and a half ago.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's no
maybe
way that
we
you
should
would want.
we should
right?
check on to see if anything has changed in the swamp, considering we have been out for a while. See if it's gotten worse, maybe better. Maybe we did do something.
Oh wait. You said we hear regular frogs?
Yeah.
So no sign of Banderhops anywhere.
Not that you see right now, no.
I wonder what happened to Granny.
How big? She's dead. How
I hope
big
she's okay.
is this? Is this obelisk, by the way? Just on a. I know you've mentioned this before, scale-wise.
The obelisk rises hundreds of feet into the air. It goes
Sea
clear
level.
past the tree line, like up into the fog.
So me, my boy, Bayor over here, trying to knock this bitch down. That seems like a no-go, is what you're telling me.
The entire obelisk?
It might kill us.
Well,
I mean-
here's my thing. If it's one of the center points of the merging, and we push it over, it's not merging anymore, as far as I can tell.
We could take the time and I could mold earth, like try to chisel it out like we're chopping down a giant tree.
Like the
biggest
leaning
tree.
tower of black obelisk.
Darkness.
It will
evil.
take a long time, but
Are we lumberjacks? Is that what's happening?
Obelisk jacks? You never thought that this would be the plan, Kurt. Your
if we-
entire D&D plan is...
If we just take the next month, I think we should be able to knock it down
wait,
fine.
I can. Rylin, quickly, give me
Yes?
the braces back. I can do mold earth twice as fast.
Yeah, I just start packing my bag. I start getting ready to start making an expedition as I see them
No,
setting up
but, like-
scaffolding.
The thing is like we were searching this swamp, right? To help the Mirenfeld get past. That was our original mission. We're not here to like save the swamp. Though, if that happens, that'd be great.
I mean, I would like if we maybe tried to save the swamp, more or less the Feywild.
Yeah, my
Cool.
question was, at the end of this, like, dragon burial and the turtle dream and the It's Time to Wake Up, did we have a sense that there was like finality towards this obelisk? Like, was there like, did we get that sense of like, we've done this, we've done it, we've done something here?
There's been a definitive shift within the swamp. From little signs of life that have started popping up again and little things like that. You also notice as you begin to pack your bags and sit in this area, it looks like whereas before it was a combination of like part of the swamp was like a combination of the Feywild and the Shadowfell. Now it is as if the two halves have been very forcibly split from each other. There are pockets of the swamp and like small areas that are completely gray and devoid of life, and there are other areas that are lush and vibrant and thriving, and it's almost like there is a jagged, sharp line between them.
I kind of like that. It kind of brings a different flavor to the environment.
All I'm hearing is knock the obelisk over, but I agree. Yes.
I think in order for us to get any sense of whether or not something has really changed and how much time has passed, at least since the last person that we saw, our best course of action could be to go back to Comort and see if she can tell if anything has changed and if her lover, the tree, has returned to good health.
That's actually, we sent the guy to go check on that, but if it's been 2 weeks, we might also want to swing on by as well.
Also, do we know how to get there? We kind of got chased there last time.
Do you have perfect direction now?
I mean, I know perfectly north, but unfortunately, I was also dead inside of a toad's stomach.
I pick up Big G because I'm pretty sure in one of the other episodes that we're on a hill or whatever with this obelisk, and we can see the top of the big tree from where we are. Or is that not true?
From the grove, you were able to see both the trench and the obelisk here. However, I will just say Celestina was able to map out the directions to the obelisk and to the great trench from the grove. So yeah, Celestina has a map for you.
Yeah, I started walking a little bit ahead, and I turn around. I'm like, "Oh, are you guys not following me?" And I hold up the map. I'm like, "Are you guys not coming?"
We sent the guy to check on the captain, but wasn't that post-acid trip, or was that pre-acid trip?
That was like literally 30 seconds. He's like right over there. And
okay, so we don't need to follow him if he's doing that thing right now.
Yeah.
I don't know if we have to go back if he's doing the thing right over there.
I think the other thing that was here was the tracks, the tracks of the cart. Then, where's the only other thing?
If we're hunting down Omega, hells yeah. 100%.
He teleported.
Not the whole cart.
The carts didn't. The carts?
Yeah.
There was one cart that escaped.
We fucked up the carts.
Yeah, there was one. There was two, but one escaped.
Oh,
still got another cart. We could
Can I
totally
roll investigation to see if there are still tracks from said cart?
Sure. Yeah, go for it.
Oop. Mr. Dungeon Master, that's 22 for investigation. Tell me where it is.
So, Arguvar, not only are you able to see the tracks still, because during your battle, these wagons were definitely not taking care to try to pass safely through the swamp. So they've left a pretty clear trail through the swamp. You're also able to ascertain that it doesn't appear that much time has passed from your battle, leading you to maybe believe that the time dilation going on here isn't just from your acid trip.
Because we were
I'm going to
planes. Yeah.
I'm going to turn to the party and explain, as a man who does not believe in the planes at all, these tracks are somehow fresh, and we should follow them immediately.
Well, I mean, it was a long battle, so it makes sense.
Wasn't 2 weeks ago long enough time for this?
There's still tracks.
Very good at math.
So that fight only took 30 seconds.
Oh.
But all right, yeah, I just pack my bag and I just start following in Argivar's bleed. Like, all right.
Sure. Small point of order. Who is carrying? I'm assuming you're taking the gold chest with you. Who's carrying that?
I'm sorry. The what?
The chest full
There's a
of gold.
chest with gold and gems in it.
I completely forgot about that.
Yeah.
I was so surprised that you're not the little kobold jumping in it like Scrooge McDuck.
Oh
That's
no,
what
I
you're
don't
supposed to
care
do.
about money. Yeah.
He doesn't know what he does.
Yeah,
Kobold
no,
doesn't
I
care
have no
about
concept.
money.
I have no concept of Earthling, surface dweller money.
I'll carry it as long as I can lift it easily.
Yeah, the chest itself isn't that big. It's a rather small
It's a
little
strong box.
lockbox. Yeah.
Okay.
You're Demon Slayer. It's fine.
Nice.
Nezuko's in there.
Cool. Good to know. So, as you make your way through the swamp, Celestina, give me a survival check.
And will do. Non-natural 20.
Cool. Celestina, these tracks are super easy for you to follow. They are the wagons were weighed down heavily. These are deep ruts that are in the swamp. That you can see kind of veer off for a ways. And you follow them probably for about an hour and a half, almost 2 hours, before you reach a small clearing that appears to have been used as a campsite.
Probably just quickly, as we're getting ready or like getting closer, as we're walking, I'll just ask. So, Arguvar, I know that we had a little bit of discussion, and clearly this person uses magic, but is there anything else that you can tell us just beforehand that we should know about this person? Just so that way, if we have to get the jump on them, and also being perfectly honest, if we can get the jump on them, I'd prefer not to have to kill them if we can. I'm perfectly fine with restraining them if we can, but
Kroll will be killed by me. But there is also the fact that this person is known for crossing the line magically. They will be paranoid, they will produce traps, and they usually expect what is to be said the unexpected. It is my experience that our best course of action is to directly attack them, as they are usually expecting attacks from other casters behind the back plays. Kroll is always expecting one of his underlings to attack him, and is always expecting something to go haywire or awry. Simply put, as strange as it might sound, I clearly put him on the back foot when I directly attacked him. While it might seem reckless, it is also something he doesn't think most people would essentially do, putting their own survival to one side so that they might fight him. But I want to be perfectly honest with you. He not only destroyed my people and my order, but it is my mission partly to see him dead. So, you may restrain him as you wish, but know that I will kill him.
then I will restrain him for you then.
That works. I would also be very vigilant, as he has been known to alter others for his own purposes.
Think back to the abominations that we saw before. That's reasonable. And you see as I kind of just steady my hand and kind of like grip onto, not my war pick this time, gripping onto my quarterstaff this time, ready for whenever we run into this person.
So Celestina, as you lead the group into this clearing, you all see that there are very obvious signs that this was a camp of some sort. You see one area that looks like it's been a large disturbance of dirt, and after a quick investigation, you notice that there are several stakes or stake holes in the ground where a tent would have been pitched. Off on the other side, you see several large trees have been torn down and branches have been pushed over and turned into sort of makeshift beds that have large indents and crushed branches and like parts that are crushed to them, presumably where these larger abominations slept. You also see a large number of tracks that are leading in and out and around this area that are all overlapped. This was probably their campsite or their headquarters for at least a little while here. As you see the set of 2 wagon tracks from the opposite side of the campsite that you have entered from, leading south from here. You also noticed, even in the hour or two, you've been traveling predominantly south for this last hour or two. It is markedly colder here than it was at the obelisk.
Do the tracks... Oh, sorry.
So the storm must be coming in.
What? There was word of a storm coming this way, right?
The snowstorm.
Do the tracks keep moving onward past the camp? Or is this kind of a dead stop for them?
It appears as if this is a dead stop for the wagon cart. You don't see the wagon itself, but you don't see tracks that are leading out from here.
Okay. I'll roll investigation for the area.
Sure, go for it.
Would also like to do that.
Yeah, anyone who wants to look around can roll investigation.
With my -1, I'm gonna kick stuff around.
Yeah, I got +1, you know. You gotta do what you can. By the way, DM, that's a 19. I'm on the prowl.
14.
Natural 20.
Hey.
I got a 17, so I'm beating standard with my -1 investigation.
You will not believe it. I rolled a 4, 3 investigation.
Nice. So Bayor, as you begin looking into the campsite surrounding this area, looking into the trees, and not far off from here, you see that there's this odd collection of branches in the forest, in the woods. Going there, you move some of them, and you quickly realize the last wagon is been hidden off in the distance somewhere. Just as you do this, Rylin, you looking at the campsite, look on the ground and you see there is evidence of runes that have been traced into the ground, that have been tried to swept away very clearly. But there appears to have been some sort of large teleportation circle that is used here not that long ago.
Gentlefolk, I do not believe we're going to find our quarry here. I see that you've at least found the cart, which is nice, but I do not believe that they are anywhere near this swamp anymore. And I'll point out the teleportation circle and the runes.
Can I do something maybe a little bit unorthodox and weird, as I usually do?
I love it.
I have to speak with animals, and I would like to know if there are any crows in the immediate vicinity, because they're really good at imitating voices, and they have marvelous memories.
Go ahead, make an investigation check.
Does my 17 work on that investigation roll before?
I will let you roll that over, sure.
Yeah.
So yeah, Bayor, looking up, you do see there are a number of different birds, just regular old robin swanbird kind of thing. And as you're looking up for a crow, eventually you do find one up in a tree that is perched high up, and as you see it, it seems to see you too. It cock its head a little bit to the side.
And I speak to it, and I say, I would like to commune with you. And I show it a shiny gold coin.
Make a persuasion with advantage. You got that shiny coin.
While he's doing that, would I be able to, in my sketchbook, copy the runes from this teleportation circle?
Yeah, you can certainly get there's not whole runes left. There are just bits and pieces of the outside of a circle. But yeah, you can certainly copy what you find.
Okay.
I got a nat 20 and a 15, so a high advantage roll on that one.
So you see the crow high up in the tree as you hold the coin up. It cocks its head and goes and flaps it and comes, and it doesn't approach you yet, but it lands much closer on a tree, probably 15 feet away from you. And it cocks its head again and it goes, "Coin?"
Yes. Coin for your memory. Coin for memory. Is what I
Coin?
say. Simple, yeah.
Coin?
I ask in a crow's question, what have you heard here?
And you hear the crow in its best crow kind of voice. It imitates frogs. It imitates leaves and the sounds of like leaves rustling. It imitates a wagon, the wheels of a wagon. And it also imitates a whooshing, like a whoo.
I ask with one more coin. Have you heard any strange voices? Strangers in these woods? Voices of strangers. What have they said?
Strangers. Strangers. Many. Woods. Strangers. Talk. Stranger angry.
I just want to be like, have they said any town names, buddy? In Crowlish.
The crow stares at you and then stares down at the 2 coins already there and then stares back at you.
I put one of the coins over to it and see what it does with it.
It flutters down and it scoops up one of the coins, then flies back up to its little perch, and then looks up at you and very clearly says, "Said the Feld."
And
Feld.
I put the other coin next to the base of the tree and then go back over to the rest of the party.
I'm currently next to Bayor for a second, and I just want to Arguvar for a second. I was like, I think Bayor might have lost it. He's been talking to that crow for the last 2 minutes, and I'm getting concerned.
He talks to crows, you talk in my head, everybody's talking to somebody. I'm going to lean down. Mr. DM,
yes.
This might be taboo magic. Is it possible for me to roll Arcana, and can I try my damnedest to finish a teleportation circle?
Yeah.
Guesstimating runes.
Bayor, I will say it's gonna take you. I mean, this is a large circle. It encompasses most of the camp. But with Celestina's help in the runes and maybe some advice from Big G and Rylin, I will allow you to make that check, yeah.
Okay, let's
We're
go
gonna
for
get
it.
teleported to some random place.
It's better this way. Don't worry.
I will say, I would normally say do a disadvantage, but you have help from a lot of people, so I will say just do an even roll here.
That is a 19 plus 1. That is an unnatural 20. I have no idea if that's enough. But I am going to guesstimate and angle and ask questions as we try to finish this teleportation circle.
So, you guys spend probably the better part of another hour here, etching out runes into the dirt with twigs and branches and making minor changes as Celestina, points them out to you. After that time, you're able to get a complete circle here, and you seem to have completed the runes at least. Whether or not it will work, you will have to try to focus some magic through it if you would like to attempt to.
Big G.
Yes. Hello.
I believe that you are a student of this form of magic.
Sure, I can certainly try.
Good. I'm going to walk to the center of the circle and like sit crisscross applesauce.
Well, I'm gonna just sit on the edge of the circle, look at him, and go, "Let's bring back our dead mom," and just tap on the circle.
Edward.
Okay. Oh, that got me. That got me good. Okay, give me the Arcana roll.
Oh God. Okay.
I'm gonna give him a little extra help with guidance, so you can add a D4.
Oh,
Okay.
you're the best.
Is anyone else helping with this roll at all?
If I can
Word of
help,
encouragement.
like if I can like in a very Dragon Ball way, like give my energy as best I can. I don't know how to do that. I don't know how spirit bond
I will say, give me a religion check, Arguvar, if you're trying to do that.
Okay.
All I've got is
My
dissonant
fault.
whispers, and I really don't want to put a voice in his head that says you suck. So I think I'm going to stay out of that.
Sorry, ask them if it doesn't work. I am good at
suck.
medicine.
You try better next time.
That's a 16. Also, is anybody else in the middle of the circle with me, or is it just me?
You know,
I will be in the circle. Yeah.
Walk in there.
I was worried.
Kinda.
I was just like, am I the only one getting beamed?
Uh-huh.
I was
That'll be
ready
a
I
for
whoop.
will
it, too.
just be barely in it, and I will be ready to activate it.
All right.
Okay.
I'm ready. Everybody hold
So
hands.
before you do this, Big G, I want to know who is standing inside the circle.
I'll be standing in it.
Everyone. Good.
Did we all jump in?
That's what I like to hear. Go
Yeah.
ahead, give me that roll,
Okay.
Big G.
Hold hands, everybody. Magic
Okay,
school bus
so-
this one, Big G.
God, I don't trust this die, but I'm gonna roll it anyway.
I'm leaning towards
what
everyone
layer
else.
of
I'm
the
like, wait, I don't.
abyss?
10, and my Arcana's 4, and then I get a D4, which is 4. 18.
Hey.
What does teleporting feel like? I don't know what I'm to expect.
Give me
this is new
give me
to
that with
everyone.
advantage, just because you do have other help here. I forgot to mention that before you roll.
Okay, you know what? I
Yeah.
will roll with another die then.
Does he get to keep the
Ooh,
D4?
that'd be a 13 plus the 4 plus the other 4, so 13, 21.
Okay.
I take a little puff of my cigar and I just blow it onto like one little rune that like wasn't finished.
It needed dragon's breath.
Yeah.
Let's go straight to heaven.
Big
guys.
G, you all gather inside this circle that you've drawn on the ground. Big G,
I'm holding
you
Baylor's hand.
focus your magical energies into your hands and you place them on the ground and you begin to expel this arcane energy into this circle. You all see there is this red and blue sort of pulsating between the two lights that starts to fill in these runes, and it starts to flicker and falter. And then Arguvar, you reach out with your holy faith, and you're able to make contact with Big G. Celestina, you're able to reach out and give Big G encouragement in his mind. Rylin, you're there to offer him guidance in this moment. And all of a sudden, the runes light up and spark, and there is a white, blinding light that surrounds all of you. And we're going to take a little bit of a break here. So, join us in 10 minutes' time. We're going to use the restroom, take a short little break here, a little bit of a breather, and we will be back soon.
Yeah.
So, don't go anywhere, because
Who knows what'll
we don't
happen?
know where we're going.
We don't know where we're going.
Oh, God.
Can't wait to find the truth.
Remember the man.
Yes, we'll be back very shortly here, friends. And welcome back to Diceburgh. We are gonna jump right on back in here, as the scouts have tried to makeshift a teleportation circle. Surely this can't go wrong. So,
Not at all.
No.
Not at all. I love
As
this.
the runes light up around your feet, there's a bright light that shines from the ground, and you are all blinded in a very similar sensation to when you were teleported to the outer space giant turtle. You see these flashes that cross across your vision. You see greens and lush forests. You see death and decay of the Shadowfell. You see flames that flicker up and burst in front of your eyes. And then through it all, you see this white room that starts to materialize around you. And as the light from the teleportation circle fades and you blink, you realize the ceiling above you is probably a good 50 feet. It is a massive vaulted chamber. There are columns in all four corners of the room that are gilded with these golden inlays and this beautiful like these beautiful pictures and images that crawl up. On the far side of the room from where you are, you see there is a massive red door that is closed. And you are alone in an eerie silence in this room.
Oh god.
We died.
How did we handle? How smooth was that teleport, by the way? Was it smooth or was it kind of a bumpy ride?
It, from your perspective, felt like a bumpy ride.
Oh god,
Okay.
I think my lungs got flipped. Oh god.
I'm going to immediately kind of look around, wait for somebody, and then when nobody speaks, I'm going to run in, hug Huge G. Huge G, it worked! You actually did it! This is incredible! And then
I mean,
that worked.
yeah. So I can't believe I made a house appear. This is really cool. Like, it's the biggest illusion I've ever made.
I thought we would be dead.
I whispered to Rylin, we might be dead.
At this moment, you see there is a large sound of metal creaking on metal as you see these red doors start to screech and creak open. As soon as they are open wide enough for someone to pass through them, you see a line of guards, heavily armored, all holding shields and spears pointed in your direction, come streaming into the room. The first guard through goes, "Intruders! Intruders in the castle!" As
My hands are up.
Guards encircle the entire teleportation circle, their spears all pointed in at you.
What insignias do they have?
They bear the insignia of Solbari.
Oh.
All of their breastplates have the sun symbol on them. And
Wonderful.
one of them goes, "You've not been authorized to use this teleportation circle. State your business."
The last person that was authorized for this teleportation circle may or may not have been involved in a plot to undo this entire city. We're merely investigating that.
We're
said.
we're actually working for, well, do you know the Mirenfeld, all that? We have emblems, right?
You do.
Okay. I just hold it and go, "Hey, look at this. Like, we've been on a hard journey. We found a little bit of a ruined teleportation circle. Decided to, like, spruce it up, redo it. And here we are."
Not to mention, I mustn't mate with any of you due to my vows.
Yes, exactly.
What? You're from the Feld?
Yeah.
Yes.
Well, what are you doing here? Is the Feld okay?
I believe so. I mean, it's a little chilly where it's at.
There was.
Oh.
We kind of
Well,
just stumbled through something and found our way here. Honestly,
Right.
we didn't know if it would work, but proud of you, Big G.
Well,
Thank you.
we're gonna have to take you in for questioning. And he waves over, and you see several of the guards come forward. They have manacles on them, as one of them all approach you, and the guard that's been talking to you says, "If you cooperate, we promise, nothing bad will happen to you.
Of course.
Just need to ask you a few
will-
questions."
Hey,
I will
what is your name?
insight on. Oh,
My name is Jabedo.
Oh, Jabedo.
Oh, Jabedo.
Getting
Jabedo,
Jabedoed
can I
every
please
time.
roll insight?
Sure.
I just need to make sure everything's on the up and up. Otherwise, I'm gonna charm person on this mofo.
I have a
you don't-
plus 17 insight as well if I'm picking up any weird vibes as well.
Gotcha.
And I get a vibe check.
That's a 16 from me, DM.
16. Arguvar, they are behaving as if very much like guards that have sprung into action. They are following orders. That seems like they are following a procedure that is set before them, and they are doing their jobs. There's a lot of most of the guards in the circle around you are still very, very tense. They had not dropped their guard at all, despite what you've said.
I mean, that's fair. We kind of just teleported right into the center of your base of operations. You have a
All right,
fair-
where is your questions,
Right,
Jojo?
you come this way, and you're all clamped with manacles around your wrists. He says, right, follow us this way. Archmage Fergus will have a chat with you real quick. And you are led by the guards out of these large red doors. The chamber immediately outside, you find yourself in a very large, elongated hallway that extends very far to either side of you. There is an open door on the opposite side of the hallway that you can see in. It looks to be some sort of guard barracks, probably where all of these people just stormed out of. You are turned left and led down a hall until you are met with another red door. This one has a golden sun emblem right in the middle of it. The lead guard, Jabedo, opens the door, and you are in what appears to be a very nice, sort of a cross between a reception area and an office. There is a large desk that sits on the far end of the room with a lot of bookshelves behind it. There are several large couches and places to seat. There's a tray with some refreshments and water on it. There's very nice music coming from somewhere that you can't really put your finger on. And sitting at the desk is a very large, bluish green-skinned furbolg wearing red cloaks. And they look up at you as you come in and go, "Oh, don't think we were expecting visitors today." And
We weren't expecting to visit you.
So, no, I didn't have any teleportations on the schedule for today. Where did you all come from?
The swamp.
Wait, you said you had no teleportations today?
Yeah, none that are scheduled anyways.
I look to everyone else. I'm like, when was the last time you had the teleportation come through?
Oh, I mean, Capital Solbar here it's a pretty busy place. It's kind of weird for us not to have any teleportations on a day. I mean, yesterday we were busy, really.
Where's the capital?
Was there any red dragonborns that went through here?
Oh, yeah, sure. Yeah, yesterday there were a few red dragonborns that were through here. There were also some red tieflings, if you're interested in those. Some red fire
Just
genasi.
dragonborns. Just red dragonborns.
Oh,
Old
yeah.
Wizard.
Old wizard.
And a large amount of barrels.
And he kind of flips through and he goes, "No, the Dragonborns were a family coming in from the Boundary Lands, looking to resettle here in Solbari, and no, we had a few merchants, but no large barrels."
To everyone, like, oh no, I think we took a wrong exit.
I think we dotted our I's when we should have crossed our T's.
What?
These
Oh,
merchants
were you-
have any barrels?
What did you say?
Did these merchants have any barrels. Methinks my nemesis, who is in magic, might be, hiding. I'm just gonna throw. I'm not gonna just be okay. He's probably in disguise. That's where I'm at right now. These merchants have many things like barrels with them. Perhaps henchmen of some variety.
I mean, if you count employees as henchmen, I suppose.
Henchmen are
What
a form of
what did they
employee.
look like?
Who the merchant or the henchman?
You know what? I just realized we're supposed to be getting questioned by you. I feel like this is a whole role. Are the guards still all around us?
Yeah, they're around you. They're not really acting like it's anything out of the ordinary.
Okay.
Yeah. And you see me. Oh, right. I do forget that. Anyways, unfortunately, you're all in a spot of trouble here. It's pretty illegal to use the teleportation circle without prior authorization. Especially unlawful entry into the palace here.
I have a question. You want Rylin? You seem like you wanted to say something.
Yes, how exactly could we be in trouble if we didn't know what we were doing? Isn't there some sort of, loophole, as in the fact that we didn't know where we were going to, nor that we could actually get here?
So you're saying you weren't intending to come here, huh?
No.
Not exactly, no.
I see. And you see he sets down one book and picks up another one and starts flipping through it and sets that book down. And he waves his hand and a book comes off of the shelf and floats over to him. And he goes, "Oh yeah, there we go. Loophole.
Totally unrelated to the situation and the possibility that we might end up going to jail. There are windows in this room, like they're like."
Totally not related.
Unrelated to anything. I just want to know about if this person's getting enough, vitamin D and all of that. I just want to worry about their health. Windows, doors, ladders.
One large window in the room. It is like a floor to almost a ceiling window. It's a nice big arch. It's a lot of light that's entering the room through here.
If I had to do a little guesstimate about how far of a drop it would be outside that window to the ground. Rough guess.
Yeah, so Celestina, as you approach the window to look out, just to look over a little bit, you see a familiar city that is spreading out before you. It is a city that you and Big G visited when you first signed up for the Feld.
That's what I
This
thought.
is the capital
thought.
city of Solbar, back in Solbari.
We
You
are
see
very far.
the harbor that is the centerpiece of Solbar, with ships entering in and out of it that sprawls. The city sort of sprawling alongside either end of the gulf that makes its way up into the city. You are in a very tall tower of the palace. It's probably a 200-foot drop to the ground, with a few other like balconies or things that you may or may not be able to scramble onto.
Kurt, could you remind me? Solbar, it's very, very far from where we were, right?
Yeah, you're probably several thousand miles south of where you were a few minutes ago.
It took us a month to travel up to where we signed up for all this.
Yeah, so it took it took the Feld about a month to get from Keblin's tower, which is where the Feld was constructed, up to where it is now. But it's probably about an equal distance from there to Solbari.
Okay, Big G, we might want to visit the cobbler, get some new shoes, because I've got some bad news.
Okay, hold on. I have an idea. Excuse me, I never caught your name, and I look at the Furbolg.
Oh, it's Archmage Fargus.
Fargus. Well, we're in a little sticky wicket right now.
Oh, yeah, I'd say so.
Oh, yeah, I mean, So I'm guessing this happened before. I just have a couple questions about magic. I mean, you seem pretty knowledgeable about teleportation, the overseer of this teleportation circle. Is it possible, say, if somebody theoretically walked into the woods and found half a teleportation circle, to kind of fill it in and teleport here?
Oh, well, you mean filling in a teleportation circle when you're not sure exactly what type of circle it was? Yeah,
Wow.
can't say that's really a good idea.
Oh, well, no, we've had worse, I would say.
Yeah, there's a lot of weird things that might happen there. It could certainly connect to a different teleportation circle than the one that you were intending to.
Okay, so I look at the others and I go,
Is he a slime?
"Is this? No, he's
No.
no.
What the?
Fargus. So I don't think we're supposed to be here. I think I'm gonna reason with everybody. I think we just screwed up. We're part of the expedition team for the Mirenfeld, and we were in the swamp. There's like some funky stuff going on with different. I look at Bayor and I go, planes, right?
Yes.
Okay, planes. And we found a neat little circle, and we had the brilliant idea that if somebody evil that we were looking for had teleported through there, we might be able to finish it and poof right next to them. And unfortunately, well, here we are.
Oh, right. I see. Well, that is quite a misunderstanding. Let me see. And he kind of flips through a couple books and looks, and he goes, given how, we didn't really have a busy schedule for today. I think I can pencil you in here. Right.
Oh,
there's going to be a small fine associated with it.
I'll pay it. Don't you worry about it.
Right. I am going to have to charge you 100 gold as a fine for unauthorized use of the teleportation circle.
Easy enough.
I
looked to
his entire life.
Bjorn and I go, we still got that chest, right?
Flump it on the desk begrudgingly. Totally not liking
also,
this magic anymore.
Say we wanted to. You said you're not busy, and if you have a little lightened schedule, could we potentially use it again to get back to where we were?
Oh, of course, yeah. You could commission a use of the teleportation circle. Standard fee is 1,000 gold.
I push the rest of the towards the guy.
This is now more than 10 times the amount that Celestina has ever seen in his life.
I just growl.
He opens it up and he goes, you're a little light. Fortunately.
How light?
Sir, I've learned that traveling these many lands that many of you tend to like to wager. I would like to wager something. May we get a free use of the teleportation circle if, I point towards the window, I jump out of the window and live?
What?
Or nothing. I
don't really see how that would make up for the loss of 1,000. It's sort of my job to do this. I can't just be giving it out willy-nilly,
Kind of look at Arguvar, and I'm picking up on it, and I just kind of shrug and sigh. Well, you did say your schedule was a bit light. Job like this, rooms like this, many flights of stairs down to the nearest entertainment. A short show is all we ask.
Give me
shake
a persuasion
my head.
with advantage.
Or is it intimidation?
Would it be intimidation?
Going this, I think it's more persuasion.
This is so intimidating. I'm gonna jump out a window. Aren't you scared?
Roll a 12 plus 3 is a good old 15. That totally makes it. He is so convinced.
He just
I
sort of
lean
strokes-
on the desk.
Right.
Nice robes you have there too.
It's 1,000 gold for the teleportation circle.
Right.
Sorry, but I can't really waive that fee.
Alright,
Yeah,
is
you're
there
just
a
doing your
way-
job. I
question-
understand.
Question. Is there a way for me to really Jedi mind trick a charm person? Like, I know he's an archmage, so this is a terrible idea, but is there a way to stealth this one? Just to hey,
You
bud,
could make a sleight of hand check.
I'm going for it. Why not? Let's see what happens. It's not like he'll beat it. He will absolutely beat it.
He's an archmage.
It's fine.
Okay.
I mean, that's a 17, so I'm sneaky with it.
Dude, I'm so
So
hyped
there's
to be in the
that.
character.
Sometimes you gotta get through. We don't have
So-
the time or the money. I'm not a
Argivar,
good
you
character.
kind of glancing over your shoulder and wait for a moment that the guards seem to be distracted and Fargus is looking down at a book and you very quickly just what is it? Is it a wisdom saving throw?
Yes.
Of like
What
a
is the save?
14 or something.
It's a 14.
You see Fargus is sitting down there reading a book and all of a sudden he goes,
I cast minor illusion to start doing juggling just to distract everybody, and it starts going da 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 da.
So I'm leaning on the desk and I'm like, you have to understand, surrounded by this circus every day, and if you don't let us use the teleport, we might be here for a rather long time. Do you really want this here in your office for that long?
Big G, make a performance at disadvantage though.
But I mean, they're illusions. I can do whatever I want with them.
You can.
I'm getting.
But he
I'm getting
definitely
the sneak-
felt magic start to affect him. So
At disadvantage. Okay.
God.
Jeez.
Oh no.
I think
That
we did a great
is-
job.
That is a 19 plus 3 or a natural 1.
Yeah, so Big G and Bayor, you see Fargus is not even paying attention to either of you. He is staring directly past you at Arguvar. And you see he stands up from his
Arguvar's
desk
going
now.
to whistle this way. Just kind of look off like he didn't do something.
You see, he stands up now. He's a good, 8.5, 9 feet tall, fully stood up.
I didn't
He goes,
realize he was so
gods! And he points over to Arguvar, and he goes, I'm gonna have to ask you to seize them, please.
That's fair. I
And your
mean,
guards.
I just hold my hand out to be shackled. I give up.
I don't think we were
Archmage Fergus,
unshackled.
I believe this has gotten a little out of hand.
Right, you break into the
yeah.
Palace of Solbar.
We didn't know that
Excellent.
though. I will like to point that out. It was an accident that we did break in. We have been on the road for a very long time and have not really been in the company of such graciousness as yourself. But it is kind of imperative that we do get back to the swamp as quickly as possible. Because the fate of, well, our lovely floating city is kind of in our hands. We were the ones who kind of found the way to safety out of this storm. And without us really leading that way, and I quite honestly do not trust our captain to do that for you, could we make a different kind of wager?
What kind of age are you thinking of?
Well, as you said that we are light in our coin to reuse the teleportation circle, what if we kind of set an IOU? Once the city is safe, we'll come back and report to you, and any sort of odd job you have that might need some handling, you pay off the rest of.
He kind of sits there and he strokes his beard for a second. And you can see he definitely does sit back down as he considers your offer, Rylin. Make a persuasion check.
I think he's definitely a slime.
I think the really exciting thing that Celestina is learning here is that apparently making a deal is called a wager here, and that's what I'm learning.
I would actually like to go
Okay.
saddle up next to Celestina real quick.
Is it persuasion?
Yes, please.
All right, unnatural 20.
Okay. He sits down and he goes, you know, you said you're with the Feld, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. See, a Crown, they're not really big fans of the Feld. I don't understand why. Because the way I see it, you're out there with the plane adrift, in the middle of all the elements. It could be a great chance for academic study.
Mm-hmm.
So, I'll tell you what. I'm missing a couple, hard-to-find ingredients for some, enchantments of a stronger nature. What if I gave you a grocery list? You bring them back to me, and I'll can pencil you in a little bit here.
In Ryland's mind, they hear immediately, hey, we're about 1,000 miles away. How are we going to make a delivery?
In your mind, back in your...
Yeah.
hear, we use the circle again?
If that's how it works, that's how it works, I guess. And I'm fully on board not knowing how any magic works.
We're going to be using that circle a lot now that I know it's illegal.
Celestina,
I
I
obey
need
the
to
laws
give
of the
you
Great Equation.
the look.
Oh, yeah.
Okay, we're connected. I'm gonna look at you and go, okay, it's 1,000 gold to use it, or it's a fine of 100 gold. You're pretty quick. I hop on your shoulders, we dart there, and we use it as fast as possible, okay? None of this ever happened.
Do you know how to start it?
I did it once.
How busy? How big of a line is it? Like how mad of a dash does it have to be?
Through
So
several
there's
guards.
guards on both sides of the doors.
Not to worry.
Probably a total of about 20 to 30 guards that were lining that teleportation circle. That are
fair fight.
sort of waiting in that hallway that you would have to get past. It's probably 100 feet down to the teleportation circle room, another 40 feet to the center of the room.
140 feet. I can make it.
Boy, I think we can make it.
I can make it.
I have never played this lawful of a character before, and I just have to tell you how painful it is to listen to your harebrained schemes and going, what?
Yeah, it's fine. None of you can hear this. This is
this is an A and B conversation. You don't have to worry about that.
Don't worry.
I've already.
Arguvar's thinking it though. I've already.
You see me glance at the
Big
teleporter.
G's already going I'm done with the Feld. I'm done with everything. This is the only chance to get out. I'm not going to jail.
No, we're not going to go to jail. We're going to be fine. Let's see how Rylin seems to be handling this pretty well. And if not, I will reach out to everyone in their minds. I assume one of them can make enough of it distracting them without hurting anybody. Bada bing, bada boom, we run into the woods and we never speak of this again.
And at this point, I hear grocery list and I turn back.
Yeah, we turn back in the grocery list.
And you see him, he's writing stuff down. He's like, well, I need the feather of a phoenix, for a potion. I need a Kraken's pearl. What else here? Oh, I could use some Beth blossoms. And he hands you back a list, of 4 or 5 things.
I lean in real fast and I say, hey, I can't read. What are these?
Oh, well, these are some very exotic items. It might take us a while, but we will try our best.
Right, well, don't worry. If you show back up here without any of the items, you'll be arrested. It's no worries.
We understand.
Okay, if we show up here without the items, gotcha.
Well, next time
Right,
you
and
see
of
us,
course, and he also pulls out. He ruffles through his desk and he pulls out a scroll, and he hands it to you, and he goes, "Once you have the items, you can use this to return to here. No worries about setting up the appointment that time. Use with the scrolls is officially recognized. One small other thing, there is an enchantment on the scroll so that we can see where you're at, make sure you still have the scroll. We can find you if you try to run, that kind of stuff. It's all pretty standard.
We would never
Yeah.
do it.
oh no, we are definitely not going to try and run away.
You're gonna spy on us?
Just from time to time, just make sure that, like, if we think that you're, not really ever coming back, or if we, think it's been too long, we're just gonna make sure you still have the scroll on you. We might reach out to see how the grocery list is going. But yeah,
I'm actually curious. What kind of enchantment? I myself dabble in the magics. What kind of enchantment is that? Like, that sounds so fascinating.
right. Well, you see, it's a really interesting enchantment. First of all, nice try.
Oh,
Nice try.
Legitimately, I have a hammock I'm looking for. That's the reason I wanted to know.
Oh, would we be able to do some shopping in the city? I say that, and I realize all the guards. We don't have time to do shopping in the city, do we?
No.
We don't have time.
No, unfortunately, can't really let you out into the palace from here. Or, it's a bit of an under the table kind of deal.
Oh. Do people not like knowing that you're speaking to us right now?
Well, there certainly would be some questions as to why didn't you have you arrested, where this gold went off to, why you didn't collect 1,000 gold and just send you off somewhere else again. So yeah, probably for the best that they don't find out.
That's really interesting. We should probably get going. I'm sorry not to expedite this. We're kind of in a rush.
No, yeah, it's probably the best idea. So unfortunately, we don't have the sigil for the Feld itself, but we can get you to Three Rivers Watch.
Oh, yeah, that's pretty much right where we were, actually.
How long will that take
Perfect.
us, or are we able to just use that circle on the ground again?
Oh, no, yeah, head down to the teleportation circle. The guards will escort you, and my assistant, Pock, will help you out.
Hey, I also want to just ask, and I lean in a little close on this one. I'm like, I'm not really one for magic. Are there negative adverse health effects for using a teleportation circle back to back? Because I felt a little last time we used it, and I don't know if I should talk to my doctor. I just want to know beforehand.
Yes, but we're doing it anyway.
Understandable. Thank you, Arguvar. I turned to him.
So the guards lead you out of this room,
talking.
down the hallway, back to the teleportation circle. You are met there by a very grumpy-looking gnome woman, who's kind of rubbing sleep from her eyes. She looks like she probably works the night teleportation shift. Yeah,
I
Arguvar.
mustn't mate with you due to my vows.
Right.
Notice how he didn't say that with the firebolt. Just saying.
Any day with him.
Right. Not gonna be a problem anyways. Let's get you going here. And you are ushered into the center of the teleportation circle again. She places her hands on the ground. A very similar energy sparks up from the runes as light sheds in front of you again. Again, you feel like you're being stretched out like a very long piece of spaghetti as you see plains and landscapes fly across your face. And then as the light fades, you find yourself in a very different sort of room. Instead of the grand marble ballroom that was the palace at Solbar, this is looks like a dingy back room. There are some crates that are piled along the walls. Excuse me. You can feel immediately the chill in the air as you are in a much different location. And then all of a sudden, the door on one side of the room, which is just a very simple, plain wooden door, opens up, and you hear a voice go, hello? Did someone teleport in here?
Hello, I mustn't mate with you due to my vows. I march up to this person.
And you see he is wearing the armor of Three Rivers Watch. You are somewhere within the watch building.
I want to tap on Celestina's shoulder and then tap to my forehead.
Do you feel the connection? Hello?
Yes. I didn't say much while I was in the palace, and I don't think I shall say much on this subject with this scroll in our possession. But I do believe that fireball knows more than he's let on. He said something that has raised concern in me. He said the crown wasn't a big fan of the Feld.
Okay, I'm glad that someone else noticed that, and I guess... Yeah, if we need to talk in secret, I can do that. But what are you thinking that means?
The connection with this Omega character. I don't know if Big G actually made a mistake. If a wizard is going to make a teleport into a palace, do you really think that they would put it on the record? Also, if a fireball is so easily going to make a deal with us, how easily do you think that they would make a deal with someone with actual power and influence?
That is fair. In fact, 1,000 gold for month, I understand, is not an insignificant sum. And to just kind of hand wave that away for... Hey, and I kind of... This one I say out loud. Rylin, you got that list of the groceries that you needed, right?
Yes.
You're magically inclined. Do you know what those things could be used for?
Maybe, but I will also say that my magic isn't really more of the potion making kind of magic. It's more of the using what is around me with nature and things like that. Quite honestly though, Big G, you might have better inquiries. More knowledge.
I'd love to take a check at it. Also, if it's okay with you all, I would like to hold on to that scroll.
Of course.
On the matter of the scroll, that we will absolutely be holding on to no matter what, because it is a very good scroll. I think that we all need to have a conversation of our eyes. If you can look deeply into my eyes and understand what I am saying. Celestina.
I just looked at them, and I'm like, I connect you. I'm like, hello again.
Now that we are connected, I would now ask for a mental huddle, if you will.
I'm going to have to relay this to every person individually, but I will do my very best.
Please, the game of telephone must be done.
All right.
I will also try to help by casting message. I don't know if that helps.
Thank you, Big G. I'll do.
The guard at the door is like, do you all need a minute?
Yes.
I'm having explosive diarrhea. Just give me like 5 minutes.
Oh, okay.
Bad.
Well, I'll get some towels. I'll get some towels.
Teleportation does a lot of medical damage, especially if you do it 2 times in one day. We are messed up in here.
Don't die.
Yeah. The guard does not want to hear more. He shuts the door. He's off to go get some towels somewhere.
We're leaking bile.
Oh no! I connect to Arguvar.
Okay.
Whatever
gets us mentally chatting, whether it's message or
yeah, I'll abbreviate what I'll make it easier for everyone else.
Whatever it is. First of all, can I roll Arcana with that wish list that this totally not evil Archmage totally gave us?
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Just trying to see if I can connect some dots.
I mean, if we're going based off the list of everyone who's given us a grocery store, the only other person is Lady Balmora, and she's rather trustful.
She's evil.
Despite.
That's a 17 on Arcana.
Cool. Yeah, so the full list, you were asked for a phoenix feather, a kraken pearl, a vial of purple worm slime, a Banderhob's tongue, and a dragon's tooth.
And all of those things, do they make anything common knowledge or something crazy?
So, all of those things are definitely like high-powered reagents in magical like potions and enchantments and stuff. You are not familiar with one particular enchantment or spell that uses all of those materials. However, you would know phoenix feathers are obviously very powerful, like resurrection or healing magic. A dragon's tooth is used in a wide variety. It's a very useful and very common yet very like expensive reagent. A Banderhob's tongue is often used in different like sorts of shadow realm summoning rituals. The purple worm slime is also used for like healing and regeneration. And the Kraken's pearl is a bit of a mystery to you.
Don't trust it. I'm going to kind of step forward. So, I do not believe, and this is all mentally, I imagine we're all just staring at each other in a huddle.
Yes.
I do not believe that we should hang on to the scroll for that long. I believe that we should inevitably bury it somewhere. Use mold earth, as our kobold friend has said in the past, and bury it somewhere so they cannot watch us.
I'd like to hold on to it for a little bit. I want to take a look at it, see if I can discern any cool spell stuff from it.
Feel comfortable with them spying on us?
I mean,
especially.
Let's be honest. I'm a very interestingly dressed person. People look at me quite often.
I'd agree, but spying on your personal affairs, especially when this mage could be doing something nefarious.
I mean, if he wants to see my cucumbers over my eyes when I'm having my spa day, you know, that's up to him.
I connect to Beor real quick.
So then I link to Celestina. So what Arguvar is saying, this is very confusing to me, honestly. Trying to talk to
me, it's very confusing to me too.
What Arguvar is saying is to bury the scroll in the woods. However, I do think, now I'm not exactly most intelligent on this subject, but I do think that we could garner some sort of intelligence from this scroll. I think there's some sort of magic that can be tied back into owner's handwritings and such. So I'm going to hold on to that grocery list at least for some time. The scroll, I think maybe could be used a little bit in a cunning nature, because they said that all you have to do is activate it and then send things through the portal. So if we find out this is an unsavory character, we could teleport a Banderhob into his office and see how he likes it.
We would also be sending a Banderhob directly into the capital, so we might end up getting labeled as terrorists. That might not be the best idea.
Well, I believe that, first of all, we are above any law set by them, but moreover the fact, there is a possibility that they are in league with Kroll, which in any case probably deserves a Banderhob, considering the fact that all of you think average people walking through a swamp deserve Banderhobs because of course the old hag isn't a witch, who should have died as soon as we met her.
Lady Balmora she has not hurt us directly, and her pets, we cannot fault her for that, and at the very least, if we're here, we can go talk to her.
They almost digested Big G. Almost digested.
Staring at each other and pointing back.
And also, and Rylin and the captain. We all got like eaten. Mr. DM.
Yes.
This isn't a thing like if I read it, it activates, right? I have to like really do the incantations and things like that.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Especially a teleportation circle would require like a whole ritual.
So if I look at it, does it have like the spell like details on it? Because it's like a spell scroll, right?
Yes.
Okay. I'm just gonna let you all know. I could probably just copy this into my book, and then we don't have to carry this scroll with us.
That works for me.
That's why I want to hold on to it. I just want to. I'm not gonna lie. It seems like a cool spell. I just want to yoink it.
Yoink said spell, and then we bury it somewhere.
I don't know if that spell is like the tracking spell, and then all of a sudden my book gets tracked.
I
But
have an interesting suggestion, though. If the spell stops moving, they might maybe suggest that we have left it behind. But if we say attached it to something, a wild animal perhaps, it may give us a little bit more time before they realize that it's not attached to us.
I was also thinking if it there's some unusual planar activity, as I've learned recently. Can they look into other planes? These magical tunnels? Like, can they spy in there? That's what I was trying to get out of him. He kind of held back. What if we just dump it into one of the Feywild, like, places? All of a sudden, it's like, boom, they must be dead, or we can't find them.
I will
This is
say,
also good.
I haven't heard anything for the last few moments, so I just assume that you guys are all hatching a really, really in-depth plan.
Oh, I keep shooting message towards you too, Rylin. So you can also be keyed in.
Okay. I'm like, wait,
Yeah,
am I
no.
even part of this?
I'm
Celestina
constantly
is definitely getting a
looking at each
headache
other.
from bouncing back through so
Yeah.
many people so quickly just to relay as many messages.
I'm constantly. You know what? Rylin, can I see those braces for a second?
Yes.
I put the bracers on and I cast message
So
twice.
they do require attunement. So.
Yeah.
Never mind. Here you go.
It's about probably at this time that you hear a soft like knock on the door, and it opens slightly, and there's a hand that pokes through holding some towels. It's like, I got these for you.
I'm
You're
going
very
to
nice.
walk
Thank you.
over.
Very kind. Very kind. We've cleaned it up magically,
going to-
actually. We are very capable in cleaning up our messes. But thank you very much.
I'm taking those towels. I'm gonna grab the towels.
You're one of those guys that
leave-
steals the hotel towels, aren't you, Arguvar?
Yeah, it's a free towel.
It's a free towel, and I'm going to lean out the door. Can I see into the outside, just past the room we're in? Like, is it the same watch that we've been through? Is there anything noticeable about what's happened? We've been
No,
to
yeah,
this
it looks like
watch?
the same watch building that you were through at the very
Right.
beginning of your adventure. Outside of this room appears to be the large, like, central watch area where there's a large fire in the center of it, large bonfire in the center of it, that's giving warmth to the building.
I'm going to speak to this person. Do you have a commander?
Yeah.
You're going to need to get your commander. This is top secret. And then I shut the door and then turn back around and enter the circle.
Top
I will take 3 gold and slide it underneath the door towards him.
We're going to want to talk to people in charge. We have to bring Balmora in.
We could just go talk to her. She was friendly before.
Wait, we did not make any deal with coins. This is DM question. We did not make any deal with the coins, with the payments or anything. We just did the grocery list, right?
Yes.
I still got my
Looking
treasure
after-
chest.
You do, yeah. You do still have your treasure chest and all of your gems.
Yeah. That probably cursed object that I'm totally carrying around. I don't trust a single thing in this campaign. I just want you to know.
Good.
So as y'all were talking about if they could spy on us, I mean, they really don't need the scroll to do that. I've heard of this one level of magic that whenever I woke up, one of the water ladies used to kind of like see what was out and see what their friends were doing. So for how high he was an archmage, they can probably just do that with or without the scroll. So it's probably safer if we just keep it. In my mind.
That's
I don't know if they can do that, but they said they need the scroll to do it.
I think
know
that's
they're
more of like
spying
a
on us.
security measure. It's easier to connect.
It might also be so that the way we don't give away a scroll that teleports directly into the palace.
It could also
That's
be they're
true.
working
That's fair.
Kroll, and Kroll wants to keep his eye on us.
Well, he could just do that anyway if he's powerful enough.
Well, then I would like to get rid of the device that keeps the spying on us than the hypothetical device that is spying on us.
I mean, I gotta be honest. I had no idea what I was doing with that teleportation circle. You
I'm
told
so
me to
proud
go,
of you.
and
Still so proud of you.
Hey, man, thank you.
Celestina, I
haven't heard
motion
that
to
in a while.
you to fill him in on what our conversation was earlier, just so that he knows that we're giving him the thumbs up.
I relay this information, abridged, of course.
Yeah.
But I relay this information.
It's probably around this time that there is another knock on the door.
We should go.
Yeah, we should
And you
probably
hear
go.
a voice that says, hello, it's Watcher Baldrick. I believe you asked for me.
I'm going to open up the door. I'm surprised that worked. Hello and greetings. How are you today?
I'm good. Kind of wondering where y'all came from, but you know,
this room.
The floor.
well, you know, I was guessing that, but like, you know, before that,
Oh, we came from the capital.
from Solbar.
Yeah, we have urgent info that we need to spring on you.
What?
We do.
What's the information?
Arguvar, you take over. You know more about it.
Right. Balmora needs to be arrested as soon as possible.
No.
We don't need to arrest Valmora.
I mean, we can arrest her and then talk to her.
Have you ever been arrested, Big G? I don't think people are usually in the mood to talk after being arrested. We were almost
we
arrested.
were just arrested.
We're free.
Yeah, exactly.
Sometimes
Hey,
you
He's
just
very
arresting is not
dangerous
supposed to
and
be
can
that
summon
simple.
Vanderhobbs.
Wait, you mean that old swamp witch?
Oh yeah, she's
He's
the
the one who's
sweetest
been
lady.
summoning the giant toads.
You were right. She is a witch.
He has
What?
been summoning the giant toads that have been eating people in the swamp, yes.
Oh, that's
He
that's
should be
troubling.
arrested.
You know,
That is
only
very
trouble
troubling.
is
Thank you.
she she hasn't been seen in a couple days. Her house either.
I
It's like
throw my helmet across the room and storm the fuck out in the most I told you so. She's a villain. I walk up.
Why would
I'm like, I don't even know why I do this. I don't
What would the
even
villain
know.
give us tea?
I really hope, like, before he storms all the way out, he just silently points at everyone and then just leaves.
looking at everyone.
I to Rylin, I hear. I hope we get the postcard at some point. That I miss her.
as you storm out, Arguvar, Baldrick goes, what? Well, hey, you know, if you're looking for the Mirenfeld or the Feld camp, they're nearby outside.
Oh, perfect.
Thank you.
Wait, how'd you know that?
We have the insignias on.
Yeah,
Oh, that's right. Never
he
mind.
points to you.
Forgot about the name tags.
Big G takes out a knife. How'd you know that? How'd you know that?
We've seen some stuff. We're a little on edge.
Right. He points at Arguvar. I kind of figured that.
He's going to take that towel. He's not giving that back. I'm sorry.
No, that's all right. No, it's he can have that.
Got the
Based off
towel
what
around
based off
my
what was told, I
shoulder.
assume they were not good. They were not expecting to get that towel back. And I make my way outside as well.
So as you all make your way out of the watch building here, you open the
Very
door,
polite.
and the wind and the chill from this bitter wind is the first thing that hits you. You are all not still dressed in your like warm, humid swamp gear, are not prepared for the cold weather that has set down on Three Rivers Watch.
I
you
was
can
not
s-
prepared for this weather that was just set down on Three Rivers Watch.
You see there are clouds that have rolled in, and snow flurries have started to fall down. Nothing is really that heavy yet, nothing is accumulated, but the blizzard that has been moving in is definitely on its way. You see, looking out from the watch building, you can see up into the foothills of the mountains nearby, and sure enough, you see the massive silhouette of the Feld. hovering above the foothills, high up above the city. A short ways away from the Mirenfeld, you can see a small group of wagons that are all circled up, also up in the foothills, a short distance away from the city. What you're guessing is the Mirenfeld camped out.
Are they moving towards us or just camped?
They are not. No, the city appears to be. Well, the city does appear to be moving slightly, but stopping and starting the city is a massive undertaking. The Mirenfeld does appear to be camped out, though.
Okay. I'm gonna be honest to you all. I'm pretty beat. I mean, technically, we all haven't slept a full night in like 2 weeks. Maybe we should, in this city, take it a little easy for one night.
Let's report back to anything. At the very least, let's report back to the captains of the Mirenfeld, and then probably make our way back through the swamp in the morning. Should be a lot easier now that we have a map. Or at least to get this back towards the obelisk.
I agree.
Fine with that.
Maybe there's a hag witch that could get me some tea.
I hope so. It was delicious.
It was okay. I was like mid.
Everyone here is a tea snob. Every single one of you.
So you're heading to the Mirenfeld?
Probably to the camp or anything to find
The
whoever.
Mirenfeld camp.
Yeah.
Whoever would be like the leader there to report any information that we have, updated maps, things like that.
Sure.
I've been convinced and fully hate Balmora.
Then it only stands to.
So
Tea
if
wasn't that good.
as you head out of the town, the Mirenfeld's camped probably about a half a mile outside of town. As you exit and you cross over the familiar bridge in the little stream, you look across the river to where Balmora's hut once stood in the reeds there, and it is gone. There is a crevice, there's a crater underneath where the house used to sit that looks like dirt has been disturbed, but the hut itself is no longer there.
And giant chicken tracks just walking away.
Is there anything like, if we take a moment to look, is there anything that might have been left behind?
If you want to take a moment to look, yeah, you can make an investigation check.
Cool.
Big middle finger stuck in the middle of the whole thing.
Oh, that's not that bad. 16.
16. Celestina, you don't find much. There are what appear to be a couple of very large tracks heading into the swamp from the area that she had set up in. However, you do see in the mud, half buried almost, is one small ceramic teacup.
Pick it up. Is it intact and everything?
It is, almost miraculously, it is not broken. There is a small chip on the rim, but it is still intact.
Something at least to give back to her whenever I see her, and I put it in my bag. I probably don't mention it to anyone else. I probably, because I know that they don't like Balmora. I keep it as my own little personal thing.
And people have a saying: make an entire house vanish. That's not good.
That's a saying you have?
That is a saying. Bad people.
That part of your code?
I believe
No,
it
it's
is.
actually more of a saying than code.
What if you know how we have an entire city that's moving? What if her house can do that?
If
We're
it's just a
literally
house,
doing that.
that's not okay. Clearly up to no good. If it's an entire city, that's a community. That's a different thing. And if it's just your home, that's clearly sinister.
You can that one point that was okay. That's a valid argument. There you
That
go.
old man from Up, awful.
What?
Nah.
Yeah.
What is
Oh, I didn't know that they had those theater productions where you were from.
Oh yeah, I mean there's an artisans guild in Three Rivers Watch. Maybe we should do that tonight.
Bart,
So,
Did not care for the
continuing
beginning of
on
Up.
from Balmora's camp there, it's a short distance up to the Mirenfeld. You see as you approach, all of the wagons of the Mirenfeld have been circled up and huddled very closely together, probably to help protect from this storm that has been moving in. As you make your way up, you see some of the other scouts on the outskirts of camp doing their different duties for the camp start to take notice of your arrival, and they just sort of stop. And some of them completely set down what they're doing and just watch you walk up to camp.
Do any of them look like slimes?
None of them look like slimes. No, these are all people that you would recognize from around camp.
Well, I recognized a slime at one point, and I still popped him in the face.
As you enter the camp, you see someone come out of the little like mess tent area that's set up. They have a mug of something that is steaming, and they look up as they see you, and their eyes go wide, and they start to yell, "They made it! Hey, everyone, they made it! They're back!" And you see the camp starts to buzz with commotion as people come out of tents and emerge from these wagons, as all of a sudden the camp just bursts into this round of applause as people are like cheering. People are like, "We thought you'd never make it back. We thought you were gone. Hey, they made it back. Hey, the Feld saved. They saved the Feld." Just a hero's welcome as you are greeted into this camp. You see from the large command tent that is Miranda's, you see the flap open up as the rather short frame of Commander Miranda stands and sees you all. And undoubtedly you see her posture just straighten a little bit, and there's the briefest smirk that crosses her face. And then she goes, "All right, everyone." And with like that, everyone goes quiet. She goes, "Welcome back, scouts. Everyone else, you have your jobs."
Is this the first? Is this the person that we originally met who said that no one makes it back from the swamp?
Yes, yeah. This is Commander Miranda who sent you out into the swamp in the first place.
We vindicated. We told you we'd be back. I don't know why you doubted us.
Well,
Commander, I have a demonstration for you that would be good for the rest of the men.
Hold on, everyone. And she kind of holds out and she goes, "Seems Scout Arguvar has brought something to help morale."
I am going to need a volunteer.
You see one of the half-orc twins that runs the mess hall pokes their head out and goes, "I'll help."
Come on up there, person.
You see he removes the like little hat and his apron, and he kind of hands it off to the mess cook. Steps up towards you.
I mustn't mate with you due to my vows. In the swamp, there are a thing I call goops. These goops can pretend to be different people. There's only one tried and true method for finding out if someone is a goop while in the swamp.
Well, he
Something
does
that
that.
I've perfected.
I'm just going to let you do it, but as he does it, I'm just going to walk up to Miranda with the chest of gold. Not say anything. I'm going to wait until he finishes. I'm just going to walk up and stand next to her.
Gotcha.
I'm gonna crack him in the face. I mean, that's the next part.
Go ahead. He's not going to defend from it. Go ahead, roll D4.
Hey, that's 4. Hey, there you go. So I crack him in the face, and then I go, and if he becomes goop, a form of slime, then they are in fact a goop. That is my presentation.
And he's holding his nose as there's blood just trickling out of his nose that is clearly broken as you just bam right in the kisser. As he goes, "Oh, not goop. Oh."
That is the price of learning.
You don't. Oh my god.
I'm sorry
Good
about him.
education
He
hurts
probably should have
sometimes.
given you a little bit more warning. And I'll cast Healing Word to heal him back up and recorrect his
You
nose.
mustn't warn them if you suspect them to be a goop.
Commander Miranda says, thank you for the demonstration, Arguvar. That's very helpful. Now,
How does that
do your
boost
jobs.
I'd like to see it again.
No, I think we're okay, thank you. And she beckons you into your tent, and she goes, think we have some things to discuss here.
I'm gonna start wiping my hand on the tent.
Oh God.
Yeah, Miranda leads you into the tent. It's a familiar space. You can see the table that was sitting in the middle there. The Mirenfeld certainly has moved up closer to Three Rivers Watch. There's also, you can see, it looks like a marker for the blizzard that is just on the other side of the mountain range that is behind the feld here. She goes, looks like you've made it back just in time. We need to start moving the feld here if we're going to avoid this blizzard. Tell me, what did you find in the swamp?
I take out the map that I've made so far, kind of just showing the paths and everything.
And she takes it back from you and she goes, Celestina, this is excellent information. We can update the maps at once.
That's what I'm here for.
There's probably a few other things to discuss about the swamp itself. So we have had issues with planes converging, which is why, we have the Feld and it is a hovering city. The swamp is one of those locations where we have interference from both the Shadowfell and the Feywilds kind of intermingling onto this plane. At times you are walking through the Feywild, right on top of the Shadowfell, right on top of the material plane. Things get a little hairy.
Yes,
you could say.
Sounds like it would be dangerous. No wonder we've lost a couple of teams.
Part of that was from Balmora, the witch, has been summoning Banderhobs to eat civilians.
Oh, she's awful.
She has not been summoning them to eat the civilians. She's been summoning them for protection, and they happen to eat civilians. It's an honest mistake that, from what I understand, the magicians can just happen to do every now and then.
And she did it 6 times repeatedly.
I mean, how many mistakes have you made in your life?
Times,
at least
many
6
times. At least 6 times.
And then speaking of casualties, I will produce the shield and the breastplate that had been sloughed over my shoulder, and saying, speaking of the fallen members of the Feld, we managed to take this from a camp. I would like to see it go to its respective families if it can be possible.
Of course. Thank you. I'm sure what little comfort there is to be had in them, the families will find.
The sketchbook as well gets turned on.
She takes them all and very carefully, places them off onto a side table. She goes, so, tell me, did you find the path to the Great Trench?
We did. It will be actually, hopefully easily guarded with a druid. She has agreed to offer the Feld a guide to the Great Trench with safety through her lands, with the agreement that we must not settle any beings in her territory.
Of course, that seems reasonable. I mean, the Feld's not really there for settling anyways. We're more passing through.
It just means that we most likely would have to... It'd have to be a quick shot, and I don't think there'd be that many breaks getting through it. So some men might have to get on the Feld itself to ride with it.
I bet we could lead it through. I mean, we've done it once.
It's just also imperative that we don't damage anything as we're walking through the swamp.
Okay.
Yes, you should tell the travelers, the Felds. Yeah, don't pick anything.
For it is not ours really to pick and to take.
Of course. I understand. And she's also taking notes as she does this and says, well, yes, we will,
Dearest Captain, I would like to nobly offer my service in leading this expedition through the swamp.
Well, we do need some of the scouts to go with the Feld. The plan was for the Mirenfeld to wait out the blizzard here, and then wait for the Feld to return from the trench, and have the scouts sort of advance the way. But if you know the way to the trench and you're willing to lead the city there,
I would consider it a great honor.
If he's going, then you've got at least 2.
I think it's best that we all stick together.
Like to check on Kimort.
I was thinking something similar. We are unfortunately down 2 scouting teams now.
Wait, Captain, I forgot to mention, and I'm going to search in my bag. I actually have a thing that I also discovered. It is known as a goop, as I put it, and I consider this to be a friend, familiar, and kind pet to the party.
But not Vanderhops.
Yes, I'm going to present in my hand cupped Morph, our little Oblex companion, who I'm going to...
Are you holding him with your bare hands?
Of course I am, and I was about to say I intend to roll a animal handling, and I am also going to, when I pull it up, I consider him to be a student, a friend, a pet, and as the wizards call it, a familiar, and I give it a little kiss.
I see him get close to it. Is there an open cup or something that I could scoop this thing into to get it away from him? I didn't realize he still had it. I thought I took it back. He's crafty.
Yo! That is a crit for animal handling.
Oh!
Is it the smooch?
Morph!
So, Arguvar, pretty much for the first time since you have had Morph, he does not immediately bite you when you bring him into your hands. You see, he's just like, kind of... like if he were a Jello, you know how like if you swirl Jello, it'll like jiggle around like in a circle like that. He's kind of doing that in your hand.
I love him. I'm going to look at the commander. Yes, but he is a goop that we found in the swamp, and I'm going to try to put it up on my shoulder. He's quite well behaved, this Morph.
Celestina, are you trying to go for Morph?
Like, I hesitate for a moment if I see that it's not immediately sapping his memories, but I'm definitely like, Arguvar, let me put it away. Put it in the jar.
He's being good.
Put it in the jar.
This thing hasn't swallowed 6 people like a Vanderhob.
This thing has stolen your memories 3 times. Put it in the jar.
He destroyed his home, and now
you don't remember the last time this thing hurt you. Put it in the jar.
And also to save face in front of the Captain Miranda and saying, this would be the second phase of Arguvar's presentation of the goop in its actual natural form.
We should get the guy back. This is a great idea. Bring them in.
We don't need to go into further detail on that one now.
I am going to take out my little chalice and politely ask, Morph, would you like to go back inside?
And you do see Morph sort of rolls off of your hand and falls back into the chalice.
It is my old ink bottle, just letting you know.
I thought it was one of my religious chalices.
Yeah, like a censer.
Was it? I'm pretty sure when we first put them in.
Originally, it was an old ink bottle.
First, and then there was a transfer into one of
that might have been the episode you weren't here.
Yep.
Oh.
Big G.
Either way, I'm going to hold him up in my chalice, and I go, you are not a prisoner. You may come out anytime. And I'm going to put him back down into my bag.
Miranda, looking at all this, says, well, we do give our scouting parties a good deal of leniency, and if you're free to study what you wish while you're out in the wilderness, so just stay safe. And I mean, I can't believe I'm saying this, but I trust your judgment. You are the only scouts who've made it back so far.
I almost got arrested at the Capitol.
Don't mention that. Don't mention that.
were at the...
Yes.
Uh,
There's a villain known as Omega, also known as Kroll Lex, who is going
It's a
through...
long story.
That one is actually pertinent, though.
This is pertinent, and it's also the destruction of my people, Big G. But
You know what? That's fair. I'm sorry I stepped over you.
It's okay. No, I'm still impressed. But with your magics, we were able to make it to the capital. And before that, we were tracking down an arch nemesis of mine who had currently been, I believe, harvesting a black dragon over a dark obelisk to essentially gain more power through grafting dragon parts onto himself and others. He wiped out all of my people at one point. Would you like to see Morph again?
No, I'd rather talk about this here. That's very troubling. Do you know any other information about this individual, where they might have gone?
We were trying to follow them, and then we found their teleportation circle. We used it, and then we ended up in the capital city, where we then met some person who is lovely and also currently spying on us, and that's when we were teleported back here.
I think I understand.
I believe that this Omega does most likely serve some form of risk to the city. All cities. They will try to wipe out life, and I have no doubt as we move through the trench, they will try to attack us again.
She thinks for a moment, and she goes, I sent one of our other scouts, Warden Foster, into the swamp. He was tracking down 2 wagons that went missing from the Feld. I wonder if you ran into them.
Yeah, ran into them, and they had a really cool dog.
Oh, you met Warden?
Yeah.
Oh, well, good. Did he say anything about the wagons while he was there?
Mostly threatening to kill us.
There's a little timey-wimey things that happened. And we destroyed one wagon, and then found the other one, but after we talked to him, and we sent him actually to find our captain.
Oh.
He was aware.
He was aware of the wagons, yes. And that's
realizing
how he
it
came
now.
across
Sorry.
us.
Realizing it now, we probably didn't need to destroy the wagons. We probably could have just destroyed what was inside of it, but there was heat of the moment, so apologize for that.
No,
I
the
think
wagon
we
had to
need to
go.
destroy all wagons. I don't trust. Like, think about it. If those wagons weren't there, he wouldn't have been able to get away with everything.
Right.
It's true. We do have to blame wagons for that.
We do have to blame wagons. And all the meat that were on said wagons.
The important thing is that you were able to find them and stop them. Some of them, anyways.
Yes.
If Warden is still in the swamp, though, we should try to find him and Yarick as well.
Have they not returned back?
He would be with Kamort.
I guess it's only been
Yeah,
a couple
we
of
told them to
minutes.
stay.
I guess it's only been a couple of hours since we left him, so I guess it's not that unreasonable that they're not back yet.
I feel like we took sorry, Rylin, you go first.
I'll say, yeah. How long has Warden Foster been gone?
Warden's been gone about 2 weeks, same as you. He left shortly after you did.
Oh. Huh. That's really interesting. Sorry. We only spoke to him like maybe 5 hours ago.
Oh. Well, that's... I'm glad to know that Warden's okay.
Yeah, maybe we should add to the list of the dangerous things that are in the swamp is that time gets weird, it seems.
Yes.
Oh,
We've only really been gone for, to our knowledge,
Few days.
maybe 5 days? 2 days? 5 days? 3 days?
3.
That... Well, I can't lie. If the swamp has some connection to the Feywild, that would make some bit of sense.
There's also a giant space turtle that you should watch out for.
Yes.
In short, we have seen a lot, We are weary.
Yes,
So
it,
we might
it
need a little
sounds
bit of
like
rest
you've
as
earned
well.
yourself a rest. And to be honest, it sounds like you've earned maybe a little more than that. The Mirenfeld is in need of a new scouting unit. A new primary scouting unit. The first unit into a new dangerous area. And it seems that you all are particularly well suited for this. If you would take it, the position as full scouts of the Mirenfeld is yours.
I look to Big G and I say, "Want to go into round 2?"
I'm already saluting.
Can we discuss
Oh.
privately?
Of course, yes.
And then I think we may all be leaning towards it, but I feel like we as a group and a collective need to make a group decision and not just jump right into an opportunity.
And we have the night to
fair.
think about it?
Certainly. Take the night, rest. You've certainly earned that much. And tomorrow morning we will start making preparations for the Feld to depart for the Great Trench.
Lovely.
Perfect. Well, then, do you guys want to go just find some food, have some drinks, and relax for a little bit?
That sounds like fun.
Yes.
Right? And I make my way out of the tent, following only my stomach. Where do I look like people are? What do I look like people are gathering?
That mess tent.
Yeah, so the mess tent is probably the biggest place where folks are gathering. It's also because it is a tent and there's food being cooked in there, it is the warmest spot in camp right now.
I probably will, just kind of get down, sidle up to a table, and I say, "Big G, care for a drink?"
Oh, I would love some. What do you got?
I think it's time that we break out the special reserve. And so I reach into my bag and I pull out our own special bottle of liquor, and I pour us a drink.
Oh, I appreciate it. Hey, could you hand that over?
Oh yeah, Big G, here you go. And I reach over and I pass you your drink.
Oh, I thank you. I really appreciate this. I'll get on that. Well,
Absolutely.
I sit next to Arguvar if he's sitting, and I just, without looking at him, slowly hand him his helmet back.
Thank you.
Nice.
So, now that we have food and drink and what is our plan? Like, overarching goals. I mean, it would be great and fine to just continue to travel into new parts of the land to help the Feld, which we are pretty good at it. But I think there's some ulterior missions and things that are a little bit more daunting. I mean, we have to find Kroll, who seems to be at the head of all of the merging of these different planes of existence.
Hold on. On the topic of Kroll, if magic can, based off my loose understanding of magic, if you can somehow track a scroll, wouldn't you be able to track a person if you know who they are?
You can. So the scroll, I think, just helps give a better understanding, something more connected to it. They could easily just look at one of us. Especially Arguvar, since Kroll knows you very, well. Be very easy to find
I still
you.
find it very strange that while they could possibly, we know for sure they are tracking us with the scroll. That is odd to me. Especially if we choose to go off away from scouting. If we do pursue our goals, whether that's in the Summer Court or with Kroll, or to eventually bring Balmora to justice, I think we need to all remember the fact that there is an archmage far away who is constantly watching us and has a very odd grocery list. And I don't care if he's listening right now. gonna cross my arms a little bit.
Well, then maybe we do continue scouting and we just use that as a guise to figuring out the rest of what is going on. I mean, I would really like to understand like where I come from and what that happens, and I would like that to not go away. So kind of making sure the spring court stays intact, so then the fall court stays intact, and the summer court stays intact, and the winter court stays intact would be high on my priority list.
I think a visit to Camort might allay some fears from that. If this boundary land has stopped converging, I think that might put both of our hearts at ease.
Besides, I've already made you my promise that I'm going to help you finish this, and I'm not the one to go back on my word.
So, question.
Yes.
The orc, or was it a half orc or an orc? I broke the nose of somebody.
Yeah.
Yes, there are two half-orc twins that run the mess hall. Now, a little more easily distinguished from each other, as one of their noses is a little more crooked than the other one.
Well,
You could easily tell them apart.
That's good. I helped in a weird way. I marked one. I'm going to look at the rest of the group and lean in. I am comfortable to continue scouting. I just think being spied on is odd. And I'm going to stand up and I believe I have a person I need to apologize to for a moment. I'm going to walk up to said broken-nosed orc, and I'm going to try to put a drink in front of them, like politely. I broke your nose. Would you like a drink?
He looks down at the drink and looks back up at you. He kind of smiles a little bit, and then he goes to reach for the drink. And Arguvar, what's your AC?
Is I believe a 16.
Okay, that's gonna hit. Arguvar, I need you to take 2 damage. As the half orc wham returns the favor and cracks you right across the jaw. You see stars for a minute, and as your vision clears, you see the half orc laughing as he tosses the drink back and goes, we're even, and claps you on the shoulder.
I'm going to kind of look at him, and I go, I must say, the strike was weaker than mine.
No.
Well, I was holding back, taking
Would you
the
like
high
to not
road.
hold back? I wish to not hold back either. You see Arguvar starts taking off his armor a little bit.
No.
Just a friendly competition. I've been out in the wild for a while. I've only been able to kill toads.
Arguvar, you're not trying to. This is going to be a friendly bout, right? We don't have to stop you, right?
Of course not.
He
I'm
takes
going
Of
off.
course not with being a friendly bout, or of course not that we have to stop you.
I
He
would
starts-
like to stand up, use disguise self to change into a referee outfit, and I go, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, gays and days, line on up for the bar fight of a century.
And you see the mess hall starts to gather on in as they form a little circle around Arguvar and the half orc, whose name is Braun, by the way.
Hopefully he's got a lot of that.
You see him. He takes off of his shirt and his green skin. You see he's a muscly half orc. He goes, right, first to quit, first to fall unconscious.
That seems to work for me.
All right,
What is your name?
Braun.
Ron, I
Cracks his
intend to hit
knuckles.
you so hard, you will forget your name.
Well, that makes 2 of us. Arguvar, roll initiative.
Just fisticuffs with a guy. This works.
Fisticuffs.
That is going to be a whopping... That is a 9.
Whopping 9. Hey, that beats his whopping 5, so go ahead.
Okay. I guess. I mean, do I just punch him? I guess I just punch him. I don't want to just come out with a breath weapon. I feel like that's like really coming on strong.
That feels like cheating.
That feels like cheating. Yeah, no, that is 100% cheating.
Let's have fisticuffs. Fireball.
Oh, wait a minute. I forgot that I can do that. I am going to kind of, from my scales, there's going to be a strange fluttering, as though there is a strange cloud that has enveloped me as I run to punch this orc in the face.
Okay.
That is a 24 to hit.
That'll hit, yeah.
All right, and then it for some reason on D&D Beyond, it just gives me a 4 instead of a 1d4. Do you want me to roll a 1d4 or just give him the 4? I'm not sure. Roll.
Oh, because I think it technically is if you're not trained, it does like 1 damage plus your strength modifier, doesn't it?
Yeah, I'm a trained man.
That's fine. Let's just do 1d4.
Okay. Cool.
Speed up the fisticuff a little bit.
That is going to be 3 points of damage as I punch him in the face.
All right. Arguvar coming out first in this fight, ducking under a wild blow that Braun throws out, and then cracking up. You see the crowd as the first hit has been landed in this fight. Braun stumbles back and is caught by the crowd, who pushes him forward again, and he flies forward towards you, Arguvar. But his swing is gonna go wild over top of you.
When he gets into my personal space, I'm gonna use my reaction, and he is going to have to roll a Constitution saving throw.
Okay.
Save, yeah.
That is a 14.
That will just make it. He will pass, I believe, as he's breathing in my spores right now. It can only be from here.
Yeah, you see he like stumbles past you the opposite way. So he coughs a little bit and then just shakes his head, ready for the next round of combat. As Arguvar, it is your turn again.
Is there a table or like a chair?
There are some in the area. There's none in the like little fighting circle that's formed around you. But you could probably like push it out and grab one. Yeah.
I'm going to yell at Big G, I need a chair, as I stutter back.
I'm going to, in his blind spot, minor illusion a chair.
Okay. In that case, when he minor illusions a chair, I'm going to pretend I can pick it up and slam it over his head. So,
go ahead.
I do so.
Give me
I don't think there's a roll.
Does it poof into flowers or something?
I was going to say, Arguvar, in the heat of the moment, you grab this chair, your hands go straight through it, and as you bring it down to crack it over him, it just... And that's when you realize you're not holding anything, and you look back, and the chair is just sort of like hazy, like blurry a little bit as your hands have crossed through it.
I'm going to make it do the sound... Bum, bum, ba-dum.
No.
Celestina would definitely yell in, if you're going to do a fight, fight fair.
I agree.
As this happens, the half-orc rushes forward to you, Arguvar. I need you to make an athletics check as he, or acrobatics check, as he grapples you around the midsection and tries to wrestle you to the ground.
Hey, athletics. Let's not do any acrobatics. That's not... No, that's a 9.
That's a 9. That unfortunately is going to be just short of his 10, as he gets both of his arms around you and is, controlling you a little bit here in your movement. It is back to your turn.
Okay. I'm going to punch him in the face. Okay,
go ahead. So? Yeah.
Okay. Sorry, I don't know why. D&D Beyond is... Hi, everybody. This was not brought to you by D&D Beyond. That, everybody, is a 13.
13
will... break his nose again.
That will hit him unarmored, yes.
Okay, and that is going to be another 3. Ooh.
I sidle next to Rylin while this combat is happening.
Sorry, go for it. Bayor.
I was just gonna ask if I overheard correctly, your royalty in your winter court.
Yes, so, I don't know what that means.
I keep watching for a moment.
As Bayor, you wham, bring your hands down on his back. You hear him give a little bit, but he doesn't break the grapple. On his turn, he is going to bring a leg behind yours, and you feel him try to sweep your leg out and take you to the ground.
He
Make a
knows
dexterity
judo.
saving throw.
Shit, he knows judo. Damn it. I don't know judo. I was raised in like a weird math Catholic church. That's not good.
They don't know
enough for this.
judo. I know geometry.
Fuck. If it was
Use
Pythagoras,
physics.
maybe. It's Dex, you said?
Yes, dexterity saving throw, please.
All right. That is going to be a whopping 8.
8. Unfortunately, you feel the half-orc, being much larger than you, plants his foot behind your foot and just pushes forward with his weight, and you take a tumble and land hard on your back, taking 2 damage from the impact.
Oh, I'm going to be honest, gang. Breath weapon is always there. I'm not, but breath weapon is always there.
Seeing Arguvar go down, I tap Big Jim like, I think this is when you start counting.
4, 3, 2. Doing this right?
So I give it a thumbs up.
I thought it was until unconscious.
It's not a wrestling pin match. But
Oh.
the crowd is just, the crowd though doesn't know. The crowd is just like 4, 3, 2 as Arguvar like gets up and like breaks the
break
pin.
out of it. I need to break the pin.
Arguvar, it is your turn. As
Can I
this
knee him in the
half-orc
face?
has positioned himself on top of you.
I'm just gonna try to punch him again. Oh, also, if he's on top of me, he needs to make that con again.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah.
This man's gonna start sprouting mushrooms.
I really am.
God.
I'm
How
not
bad do
happy
you
about
smell?
it.
That's an 8. That's gonna fail.
Okay, then that is going to be 2 points of necrotic damage and a 25 as I try to punch him in the face.
That will hit.
All right, that is another 2 points of damage.
Okay. Arguvar, from your back, you see the spores get in his face and he coughs a little bit. You use that moment to land a couple blows. But as you do so, you see his glare brings back to you as he starts pummeling you on the ground. That is a 21 to hit.
That will.
And then he's going to
That
use
will
his
not.
action surge. That is a 23 to hit.
That will also hit
All right.
as I'm getting decked in the face on the ground. My weapon looking better every moment.
So that's a total of
I'm just-
11 points of damage, Arguvar. As from on your back, there's whoop-boom, one big fist, and whoop-boom, a second big fist that land on either side of your face.
When
That's
Arguvar's
all
mind.
together. What did you say? I'm sorry,
11.
you cut out. How much? 11 points of damage. Okay.
At this
cool.
point in your mind, Arguvar, you'll definitely hear like, do you want to keep going? Like, do you need to stop this?
Why would I need this for you to stop? What?
I'm looking at what I'm
I-
seeing in the fight.
I would like to, if I am reffing this, get within 10 feet and just be like, "Oh, this is awful. Oh, I don't want to watch this. Oh, Braun, please, what are you doing? This is awful." I'm gonna use grovel, cower, and beg, to give Arguvar advantage on his next attack.
Okay.
Okay.
Yeah, you see him like glance over at you just for a second as he's like mid-third punch.
All right. May I? Here's a question. It is a touch spell, so that's my thing. I would have to be touching him. But am I allowed to disguise inflict wounds in a punch? Is that possible? Like, it just like I deck him and the spell happens.
I'm gonna say sure. Yeah, you can.
Okay. It is a touch spell. It's just I'm touching it with the end.
The delivery of touch is a little bit different.
Is Arguvar about to kill a guy in this camp?
It's fine. That is going to be I mean, it's only going to be an 11, so I don't know if I actually hit or not.
You actually do not hit.
Do not hit.
Yeah, so Arguvar from your...
you have advantage because of grovel begging.
Oh, technically, yeah, you do.
Sorry.
Okay, here we go. Okay, 13.
13 hits.
All right, well then, 3d10 necrotic, baby.
Yeah. I'm gonna say if I see this go off, this is gonna be when I'm stopping the fight. I'm stopping the fight.
That's going to be a big punch and 21 points of necrotic damage.
Okay. So, Arguvar, you land this blow right to the face, and you can see this black start to spread across this half-orc's jaw as you see him look down as he impacts for a second, and then the pain grows a little bit, and you can see him start to get worried as his jaw just goes slack for a second, and you can see his flesh eating away until there's bone and teeth exposed. The crowd is there's immediately you have people jumping into it, separating the two of you. The half-orc's it was supposed to be non-lethal! You said it was non-lethal!
That's not lethal! That's not lethal where I come from. That's not lethal. You're alive! You're alive! You're alive!
I pull Arguvar away. Yeah, I am...
Yeah.
I am mad, actually pissed that Arguvar did that. And just pull him pull him away from this dude and try to restrain him.
Yeah, you can see there's crowd, a barrier in the crowd has formed between you and this half-orc as people from the camp are shoving you away. There's people looking at and attending to the half-orc. There's people you couldn't count! You couldn't count!
I didn't! He's alive, talking to you right now.
How was that? I thought this was supposed to be a clean fight.
It was a clean fight.
No, it wasn't. What'd you just do?
I punched him. With a spell.
Yeah, I just try to restrain Arguvar, get him away from this dude.
He did not die. It was not lethal.
I'll be going into seeing about the horde. Yeah.
I would follow Bayor.
Yeah. The two of you see there's a massive hunk of flesh missing from his lower jaw as especially now that the adrenaline and the fight are going, he is starting to go into shock.
I'm gonna minor illusion a bell that does ding ding, go, fight's over, everybody disperse.
That's a great finisher, though.
Claim your bets at the counter. I was going to lay on hands, but you got something better than that.
I go over and pretty much do the same thing. I'll do cure wounds. See the little pixie come back up, and just right along his cheek line.
And you can see the necrosis starts to stop and actually reverse itself, and you see, especially as Bayor assists, you can see the muscle and sinew start to regrow, and it's not pretty, but very soon there's a skin that is healed over, and it is a much lighter shade of green than the rest of his face, but he is asleep and is comfortable and is recovered. There's a couple of people who take him out to the like medical tent to get fixed up, as there are a lot of people in this tent now that are kind of shooting your whole group like a side eye, and like you can see people go back to their tables and are like whispering amongst each other.
Arguvar, I don't know how you handle things wherever you're from, but from now on, you cannot do that to people here. At least, the very least, and not anyone who's not really our enemy.
He accepted a bout.
He accepted a bout without magic.
He said non-lethal.
It's very close to being lethal.
What you did was definitely too close to being lethal there.
I felt that he used magic and I returned in kind.
I would have no way to tell if he did or didn't use magic, actually.
Arguvar would have
he
taken that
punched
like
you.
second wind, and you said he had a crazy gleam in his eye. I thought that was magic, but I could be way off. No, he's just an orc. He could be. Okay, Arguvar read that whole scene wrong. I thought we were in a new. Okay.
Go with it.
Good to know. I was like, oh, we're using magic now. Cool. I'm gonna break.
Is this revelation going across Argivar's face currently?
Yeah, Argivar's like, oh.
Yeah.
Well, he's
think
alive.
I'm gonna
It's
say
not
probably
lethal.
not now, but maybe before we go, you might want to apologize.
I will apologize. Yes.
I would
Give
like
it a
to,
few days.
Yeah. I will also go over and help Rylin and Bayor with any medicine or anything they need help with.
Gotcha.
I'll probably patch up my
I
wounds,
I
though.
look at Big G and say to the looking over his shoulder at the rest of the crowd, I think your assistance could be to turn the tides back in our favor with the rest of this group. They don't seem to trust us right now. Maybe a kind face, a nice bit of music, some other form of entertainment other than a blood sport would be nice.
I will look at the half work that is on the ground, and I will take out the remaining 14 gold I have and place it in front of him. And then I will. Oh, okay. So I'm going to once again cast Minor Illusion on the ceiling as a disco ball slowly lowers.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And starts turning. I go, now that we got that out of our systems, how about we have a little bit of fun, some rowdiness, you know? And because I am an illusion wizard, I can both do sound and physical illusions. The disco ball doesn't really project light; it just spins. So it's just a speaker essentially.
Nice
Okay.
music. Spinning
Yeah.
penny ball.
Gee, make a persuasion check.
Persuasion check. Okay.
At disadvantage.
That's fine.
Trying to cheer that crew back up.
We'll get him back. I just melted a man's face. It's fine. With
Yeah,
a punch.
yeah.
We got this. We got
Anybody
this.
want some half-orc hot chocolate?
I'd say so. I really fucked that dude's face.
Oh, yeah.
Up. Up.
That's an
I need to
8.
add that last bit.
8
8.
period. Okay.
Yes.
Big G, people do not appear to be in the mood for lightheartedness now. There are people, just sort of most of people just kind of give you a sideways glance and then
Yeah, no,
shake their heads and go back their business.
Yeah,
Don't you all wish to dance?
I think that ship's might have sailed here
Yeah.
as I patch up.
I
get patched in the face.
apologize. I apologize on behalf of everybody. And I just turn the illusion off, and I'm gonna walk out of the tent. Walk
You
away.
all, as the day is growing on and your journey has been very long, you all eventually find your way back to your tents to rest for the evening. You are woken up the next morning by some members of the Mirenfeld, and after a brief yet very stern talking to from Commander Miranda about not attacking fellow members in the camp, and being given a very stern only warning. Preparations are being made for the Feld to head out. You can see the city overnight has drifted down of the foothills and is now like level with the city as it is making its way towards the outskirts of the swamp. Most of the camp, as you were being told, is staying near Three Rivers Watch so that after the blizzard passes, they can head east from here west from here to begin exploring a new passage for the Feld. But as those familiar with the swamp and the way to the Great Trench, you are leading a small group of members from the Mirenfeld to travel with the Feld itself. This is your first time really this up close and personal with the city, and you can see the scale of it. It absolutely dwarfs Three Rivers Watch. The Feld itself is almost like the size of a small capital, hovering there, and you see all above it the Star of Tellurian shining out across the swamp. There are a series of massive chains that are attached to the front of the Feld that are pulled taut. Like the tension that you see held in these chains is just immense, and they bury themselves into the ground. Your group is riding a little ways ahead of these chains, and you can hear this as they drag through the ground and the earth.
It's destroying the earth a bit.
A little bit.
I'm going to stay behind it and try to mold Earth it back to normal.
Say, is there like that team of druids following behind it or something like that?
Yes, so thankfully, you do see immediately the ground does appear to be destroyed. However, behind the Feld, it doesn't appear that there is much damage, as there are a group of druids that work with the Feld to make sure that the environmental damage isn't, extreme.
I would like to ask one thing as we are traveling.
Yeah.
Do I find my hammock?
Make a survival check, Big G.
Where would that even be?
It's somewhere.
Back in the grove? Was it back in the grove?
No, I lost it before then because
no, was it with the frogs?
I got eaten. Yeah.
Yeah.
So would you agree?
Why do you think I accepted this quest?
Wait, would you
That was
agree
my whole
though
reason.
that Balmora is one of the clear reasons that you do not have your hammock?
Blame Balmora for that one.
Yeah. I'm just saying, if you
can't blame every bad thing that
Bandit
happens on Balmora.
I'm just saying it does relate here.
I don't find it. It's a 4.
Unfortunately, Big G, your hammock is lost to the swamp.
Now, please shake your fist and scream Balmora like
Balmora!
We'll get to a new one, Big G.
Traveling with the Feld is a lot slower than you are used to, but the pace is sort of relaxing. You're able to just ride along. You know the path well. In your short time out of the swamp, it appears as if the fissures between the Feywild and the Shadowfell have grown deeper. There are, instead of small pockets, there are large sections of the swamp now that are either Feywild or Shadowfell. You can see as the Feld is following this river that is flowing through the swamp. And on one side of the river, it appears like it is bright and green and lush. And on the other side of the river, it is very gray and drab and Shadowfell. And as you are traveling, probably on your second or third day with the Feld, you see up ahead a very familiar looking willow tree. As you have stumbled back upon the grove of Dormak. And as you make your way into the grove and the trees open up with the feld coming in behind you, that's where we're going to leave it off for the night. So, thank you all so much for joining us. This has been Diceburgh on 5. I almost did that backwards. This has been Diceburgh on 5% Chance. We will be back in 2 weeks' time. And if I will look at my calendar here, I'll be able to tell you the date. That is April 19th. Same time, same bat channel. Don't miss tomorrow when 5% Chance is live again with the Ashen Shade Committee, hosted and DM'd by our very own Curtis Haflet. And then on Sunday, we have the Lost Minds of Phandelver. Make sure you follow us on Twitter so you know every time we go live, you can stay up to date with all the shows. Make sure you follow us on YouTube so if you miss any of the shows, you can catch up as we load them. And final thank you to our new sponsor, C4 Labs. Go check out c4labs.com. Be sure to use code BERG15, that's Berg with an H, for 15% off any item. With that, I thank you for spending a little bit of your Tuesday evening here with us. Have a good night. We'll see you next time, folks.
See you on the 19th. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.